Andrew Tate? Cobra Tate, right? Near unlimited financial access and luxuries, he was connected to the world's most powerful people, giving him a deep understanding and control of the world's realities. He lived to a moderately old age, is now immortalized in the internet culture forever via memeing. 99% of you will never achieve even one of those things. You will never be rich or important or immortalized. He beat you in every single metric. You lost to a scumbag. What you think about when you're born into a fire? He went from top G to bottom G to pedo G, dude. To the richest buyer. They wanna let the world decay. My kids, I talk to my kids about these fucking black pill douchebags. I'm like, hey, we don't buy into this bullshit, okay? Aiden Ross, Tate, Nick Fuentes, those people. Not Ollie. Ollie doesn't know, but Liam is 14. So, dude, Liam said something, the funniest thing the other day, but it might get me canceled if I say it. Never let the truth fade away. This is bigger than ourselves. We won't let the world burn away. Burn away. We feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake it through the back of the pack. Kill it anyway to play. What's up? What's up? Let me start Facebook. Hold on. I know it slows down starting the show, whatever, but it's what I can do right now. All right, it says it's streaming. Let's see. There. All right, let's go back and share it. What's everybody doing? Yesterday was Ollie's birthday, so I stayed at home, hung out with him, played games. That's why I wasn't here now. Yesterday. All right, hold on. There we go. All right, I think I'm good. You good? Roll the intro.
Hey Daddies, it's me, the Linda Binda from TikTok. I wanted to make this video because I wanted to thank you for watching Cold Beer Confessionals with Will Bird. I think that's just incredible. I've watched a few episodes and I'm just like very intrigued. But you know what I'm most intrigued in is?
What's up,
Big
losers?
Daddy's meat stick. I heard that it's very thick, like a good old German sausage. You know, Linda and her coochie loves that. Oh, never mind. Let's not go there. Anyways, I hope you have a good show and enjoy it as you can. There's a lot of weird things that go on, especially when it comes from the realm of Linda Bindaland. So, enjoy the show. Thanks for watching. Peace out.
Welcome, everybody. I am Will Bird, and this is the Cold Beer Confessional. Happy birthday, Lullabelle. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for being here. I'm Will Bird. This is Cold Beer Confessional. If you want to support the show, do it. Just Quick Tools. That's where all the donation links are, or you can do it in the platform too. I know people do bits and super chats and shit like that. That's fine, but those are the links to PayPal for direct donation. Buy me a coffee if you want your text to pop up on screen. It should be working. Dono clip if you want to record an audio message. Thank you guys for joining us. Thanks for hanging out with me. I wasn't here yesterday. It was Ollie's birthday. We just, because of snow, we had to cancel some stuff we had planned for him, and we ended up just hanging out, playing games, cooking. Mariah cooked him what he wanted to eat for supper, and we just hung out. We're just going out to a Mexican restaurant with family, and we're taking him to we were going to go down to, there's this, I guess an indoor water park thing. It's a wolf lodge. Well, no, it's not wolf. It's a wilderness lodge. Wilderness at the Smokies that he likes. He didn't want to do that. Instead, he decided he wanted to go to Tiebreakers, which is like I don't know, like Dave and Buster's, I guess. It's got a bowling alley, an arcade, and shit like that, and a restaurant in it. He wants to go to that with one of his little friends. So that's what we're doing, and we're having a family, like, get-together meal thing. So there you go. What'd you guys do without me? Did you miss me? I bet you did. Anyways, if you want to support the show, make sure you leave a message so I can read it. Thank you, and do all that thing. Yeah. Ollie never asked for anything, like, gift-wise. The only thing he just asked for it yesterday while we were trying to figure out, like, hey, what do you want for your birthday? What do you want for your birthday? What do you want for your birthday? Yes, just yesterday he asked for a game called Hues and Clues. No, Hues and Cues. Which, like, hues like colors, right? And then cues like when it's like your cue to, like, do something. I guess it's a board game. I just ordered it, but it's obviously not going to be here for a couple days. Hues and Cues board game. It's a color guessing board game. I don't know. I guess he saw it on the internet. He wanted it, so we got it for him. And he got to play in the snow for a while. So he'd been talking about playing in the snow. We built him a fort. He got to play in the snow. It wasn't the greatest snow, dude. You couldn't make snowballs. You couldn't make snowmen. You couldn't do nothing. He just fucking fell apart. Then yesterday, the roads were super bad. I guess where it didn't snow anymore, but everything kind of had a chance to melt. Then it was like fucking the high was like 10 degrees or some shit. So everything froze back. It was like solid ice where people have been driving over it. Just today, they got the roads clear. Well, I guess towards the end of yesterday, and then the first part of today, they got a lot of the roads cleared. Our road is where it's not technically open. They just kind of throw a bunch of rocks in it to get it going. They do not like plow, salt. They don't do anything for our road. So our road's still a sheet of ice. But once you get out to like where the church is at, the old bridge that collapsed, then the road's clear. So not too bad. A couple slick spots around. All right, let's get into it. What we got? I saw a good, I don't know who makes these things, but watch this. I don't know if I can play the music. It's probably copyrighted music. But you guys saw the, it was Groundhog Day, right? And the groundhog saw its shadow, so that means 6 more weeks of winter. I actually got footage of the groundhog. No audio, though, because the music's copywritten. But here you go. Actual live footage of the groundhog. Back in the hole. So there you go. 6 more weeks. The song that's playing right there is like, what a day for a daydream. It's really, the song's creepy, dude. That I guarantee it's copywritten. And then I saw a really, really good Jubilee clip. As far as like Republicans lying, misrepresenting, not even remembering the shit they say. And just being confused about the data. So everybody knows that the data that DHS released showed that over 70% of the people they deported have never committed a crime. They've never been convicted. They haven't been charged, not in the U.S., not in their home country, not over 70%. No crimes at all. Then you go up to like 80 or 90%, and it's no crimes other than like fucking traffic tickets and misdemeanors, right? No violent crimes. But I don't know how they just lie like this so blatantly. And so like they've got so much conviction behind their lies, dude.
Hey, how's it going, brother?
Mr. Toza.
Good to see you.
Great to meet you. It's interesting that you claim that because according to the DHS, 70% of the people who have been deported so far have been criminals, either caught in the act, yes.
So he comes up and just says the exact opposite of the stat that everybody knows, that everybody's been repeating, that you can find on DHS's website. I think it goes all the way up through like November of 2025 or something, because the new stats haven't come out. They'll come out like the first quarter of this month. But he just comes out and says the exact opposite.
I'm surprised you're surprised. You ran for Congress and you don't know this?
That's what those numbers said?
That is 70%. The other 30% are...
This claim fails to distinguish between convicted criminals and those accused of breaking the law. U.S. Immigration Customs Enforcement data, the Cato Institute found in December 2025 that 47% of ICE bookends have not been charged with any crime, including U.S. Immigration crimes. So I guess if you say, if the only way that you could get this spin is if you say, oh, well, what about an immigration crime? Because now they're overstaying their visas, or they entered the country illegally, or Trump ordered their asylum claim, so now they're here illegally. I have no idea where they get this shit
People
from.
who went through the entire immigration process and had some sort of deportation detainer. So that is 700,000 people were deported like that. 1.9 million people self-deported so far. That's all DHS data. It's publicly available. You can look it up. So I'm just, how...
This guy's not buying it.
Are you standing for criminals? Is that what you're doing right now?
Of interior removals, 70% of the people deported literally have not been convicted criminals. What are you talking about?
Of interior removals. That means inside the United States, not within whatever, so many miles of the border.
DHS.
That's according to DHS? Where are you getting your data from?
DHS.
What day? This is like just recently.
Last from up to October or mid-October of this year.
So we're going to need a fact check on this because I literally checked yesterday.
Not convicted criminals. 70% of the people deported are not convicted criminals under interior.
They were people that had either been convicted criminals, or they had, we're like at a stalemate because now you're claiming something, I'm claiming something from the same source. So
70% of the people that have been deported under interior removals are not convicted criminals, and that is a fact.
It doesn't matter. Even if you don't agree with this, he's going to blatantly lie in just a second. He's going to say that they post every picture of every person they deport. then this guy's going to say every picture, and he's going to say most of them, some of them, a lot of them. Then he's going to be like, that's hundreds and hundreds of thousands of pictures. He's like, no, you're misrepresenting me. I never said that.
That's not a fact.
Literally is.
It's 70%. I'm telling you, I looked.
I think you got it upside down.
At the end of the day, it is what's happening. They literally publish the photos of everybody who's being deported.
So I didn't realize that they posted every single photo.
No, they publish the majority of them, yeah. But there's data.
Really?
This is, yeah, I mean,
The majority.
You're hitting back.
You're saying they deported hundreds of thousands of people and they post pictures of every single one.
They're not posting. See, this is what you're doing here is you're building like this false deflection around it. I didn't say everybody. I said they're
You did say that at first. Then you said majority. Now what are you going to say?
posting photos of people who
Oh, now they're just posting photos of some people.
are being deported. Yes.
So that means that they're deporting.
They're posting, bro. I don't know if you're acting stupid or you're purposely just like misconstruing what I'm saying.
Yeah. But here's my argument. Under Barack Obama,
As of November 25, roughly 73% of those detained by ICE or in ICE detention centers had no criminal convictions whatsoever.
of those that were deported under interior removals, 92% of them were convicted criminals. Of that 92%,
Did you hear that? So everybody goes back to, first of all, Obama did this better, right? We weren't shooting people in the streets. We weren't fucking raiding rooftop roofers and fucking calling in the fire department while we held them at gunpoint to get them off so they couldn't finish shingling your roof. 92%. The CADA, according to the Migration Policy Institute, 85% of interior deportees under Obama had criminal convictions. So the Trump team is like, hey, let's get a bunch of numbers. So let's grab everybody. I don't care if you've been here 30 years, never committed a crime. I don't care if you had asylum yesterday and I turned it off today. I don't care if you're going to swear your oath of citizenship tomorrow. You're fair game. Obama did quite a few deportations, and even the left was complaining about how many deportations he had. And even this, the Migration Policy Institute, says that 85% of those were convicted criminals. Why isn't Trump going after the convicted criminals?
under interior removals, 92% of them were convicted criminals. Of that 92%, 81% of them were considered tier one, the worst of the worst per se. I think that is something that makes us a lot more safe than literally roaming around to go get grandmas in CVS that speak Spanish or going.
Oh, wait. Hold on. There was an update to this. The metric crosses over 92% in fiscal year 2015 when 93% of non-border deportations had prior. So in 2015, it was up to 93% of non-border deportations had criminal convictions.
Were considered tier one, the worst of the worst per se. I think that is something that makes us a lot more safe than literally roaming around to go get grandmas in CVS that speak Spanish or going to that construction
That's an absolute
on a job site.
Says during Obama's first year in office, 51% of removals were individuals convicted of what DHS describes as serious crimes, tier one. The policy change greatly reduced the total number of interior deportations from 224,000 in fiscal year 2011 to 64,000 in fiscal year 2016. And I also understand turning away at the border, right? If you've been here less than, however many days and you're within so many miles of the border, I understand just immediately putting those people back. Because the more they establish roots here, the harder it is to remove them, and they didn't come the right way and they just got here. Anybody convicted of a crime, hey, man, you kind of blew your chance. Not you've lived here for 30 years and 28 years ago, you had simple possession of marijuana. So now, while you're trying to do stuff the right way and you got an immigration lawyer, we're going to deport you, right? But these the people that they're claiming, these rapists and drug dealers and human traffickers and all deport them. Get rid of them. No one's going to stop you, bro.
Absolutely false narrative because that's actually
That's just what the facts say. I mean,
that's not what's happening. See, this is common with what the left does. You guys just
left those facts.
No,
that's kind of how that goes.
That's not what you guys do at all. For anybody watching at home, this is what they do. They get a piece of data, they fabricate a narrative around it, and then they try to sell it to you as a truth when in fact it's not.
Your data.
So
your data.
I mean, I came here.
This is Trump's own website.
I came here with a piece of data. You completely rewrote it in real time.
No, I gave you the facts.
You completely.
Well, you lied about it, right? 70% of them are convicted criminals.
I mean, I'm surprised you ran for Congress. You're one of the most disingenuous, dishonest people that I've ever met in my entire life. I was literally taken aback for a second. I was like, how? Like, I looked this up yesterday. How is this guy sitting here lying so blatantly? You should be ashamed. No, seriously, dude. And I can see it in your face. No, you know, you literally just sat here and lied. And you're like breaking down in real time.
I think I'm doing pretty good.
It's so incredibly. So tell me, why are you so in favor of criminals being in this country?
While DHS has claimed a large percentage of arrests involved either a conviction or pending charges, they're hard to verify because they're using this term pending charges. So they arrest somebody and be like, oh, they had pending charges that no one knows about, that you can't show any evidence of, that you can't right?
Told you that 70% of the people that Trump is supporting literally are not convicted criminals for interior removals. I mean, I don't understand what about this.
So you really buy into that narrative. The little grandmas are walking around. Oh my God. Oh, let's get grandma. Let's kick her out
That's
of the
literally
country.
what they're doing.
We're watching videos of this happen. I'm not saying it's, it's the fucking majority. I'm not saying it's all of them. We're watching videos. We're seeing fucking, we never did watch this video. We need to watch it. Hold on. Because I keep talking about it and we haven't fucking watched it yet. What can I get rid of? Let's do this. TikTok. This shooting at the giraffe. Robbie Roadsteamer's holding it down. 17 ICE target. Like this kid's a U.S. citizen. He's 17 years old. He's crying. Like what are we doing to people? This is after they find him, I think.
They let him out of the vehicle. They tortured him. This guy.
They beat him on the ground. They loaded him into a vehicle. He's a 17-year-old boy. He's crying, saying I'm an American citizen. They drop him off a couple miles away. Drive around with him. Right? Find out maybe he is an American citizen. Kick him out of the car without a phone or ability to contact him. A couple miles away from there, they picked him up.
Here, yeah. Torture. You okay, man? No, I'm not okay. Bro, shit's crazy.
Like, what the fuck are they doing? And then they want to run around and be like, oh, you're trying to protect pedophiles and rapists. You're picking up 17-year-old kids that are U.S. citizens.
Man's bleeding. Bleeding. They slammed me on the ground. We got to be able to call somebody. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm connected. Can we call somebody for him?
You got family around? You got somebody here, man? Come on, we in here. Come on, man. You work here, don't you? No.
And random people on the street have to like fucking pick him up and take care of him. Like, this is insane.
You work, bro, come on, bro. It's okay.
Here's the video of them picking him up.
You guys are all on video.
He's the guy in the vest right there.
This is teenager Jonathan Garcia, who was kidnapped from his job at Target by ICE. And when they realized,
I'm guessing he wears the vest because he does buggies.
oh, maybe he's not an illegal immigrant, they just threw him out of the car at a Walmart. I want you to think as a parent how pissed you would be. We are not mad enough. This is crazy. Listen to this boy cry.
And they're already telling people driver's license isn't enough. Birth certificate isn't enough. Real ID isn't enough. Carry around your passport. That's the least likely form of identification for people that aren't of higher income brackets. Like an income bracket high enough to be leaving the country are going to have, right? If you can never afford to vacation in a foreign country, why the fuck you got a passport? You don't.
He just cries, and my heart breaks for him. This is what we're doing. This is what we're doing to illegal immigrants, and this is what we're doing to citizens. What do you think they're going to do to you? Here's the video from before.
You're a U.S. citizen. I'm not a U.S. citizen. Get the fuck out of here.
Why are you kidnapping our citizens?
Wow.
Why are you?
Bet on my life, I bet no one will be held accountable for this.
I don't know. It's fucking insane. You believe they're picking up little grandmas? Well, they picked up this 17-year-old kid that's a U.S. citizen.
This is Jonathan.
Back to the video.
Why are you so in favor of criminals being in this country?
I just told you that 70% of the people that Trump is supporting literally are not convicted criminals for interior removals. I mean, I don't understand what about this.
So you really buy into that narrative. That little grandmas are walking around. Oh my God. Oh, let's get grandma. Let's kick her out of the country.
That's literally what they're doing.
That's not what they're doing. Cite one case like that.
Of what? Of
One case of the little grandma standing at the taco stand getting deported.
You
can't cite it. There we go. There we go. You can't cite.
Are you denying the fact that?
No. I'm holding you to account because that's the narrative you're just running with, and then you can't cite a specific example.
What I'm telling you.
Again, this man is deeply disingenuous. Thank God you're out of politics. We don't need more lying politicians like you.
What we don't need.
We don't need more
And if you have an accent, you're not safe, basically.
lying politicians like you. I'm running for Congress too. I'm actually still in the race. Yes.
Okay.
In Hollywood, Glendale, Burbank.
Or you make them mad, right? They're saying the DHS, Christy Noem herself warned that maybe Americans should start carrying around passports while all this is going on.
in Pasadena. We need people who tell the truth. We don't need liars like you.
When this episode comes out and they show the fact check and you are miserably wrong, as you clearly
I'm not going to be wrong.
And they show this is going to be really beautiful when America gets to watch the fact that the person running to be your next congressman literally cannot read data.
This guy's breaking down. He's like looking at the clock. He's like, please get me out of here.
I think I'm doing pretty
You looked
good.
at the clock, dude. You're breaking down in real time. I can see your face is like twitching.
I think I'm just chilling.
You don't seem like it.
Because here's the reality. Is that under Barack Obama, we know that we focus more on convicted criminals, and you guys just aren't. I'm sorry that the numbers don't back up what you're talking about, but that's just the reality.
They literally do.
This is just going to be just so beautiful because when they show this fact check, we're just going to, I guess one of us is going to go viral over this.
Definitely not. When your fucking bank account is zero every 2 days before payday, and you're bumming cigarettes and lunch money and rides to work, and how the fuck are you supposed to go get a passport and taking time off work and doing it and the photos and shipping it in and all that? Like, come on.
I guess.
Pause.
How can a guy be so confident in something and be so wrong?
I think we pause.
Pause.
Okay. Well,
It's gonna be a great fact check, I will say.
There you go. There's the video. It says, this is what debating a MAGA Republican looks like. It's like playing chess with a pigeon. Focus on that 30-second stretch. First, he flatly claims that the government literally publishes the photo of everyone who gets deported. Then less than half a minute later, he denies ever having said that. Yeah, basically. I fucking insane, dude. All right, I got a couple more I already picked up. We just watched that one. This is, there's been some resurfacing of some Epstein footage. I'm not going to say it's all new footage. It's footage that, I think this is a new one. This is a rerun, but interesting footage nonetheless since the files came out.
How did Jeffrey Epstein have the financial backing to abuse what turns out to be hundreds of young women and girls?
The hundreds of millions of dollars that Epstein amassed, the palatial estates and aircraft.
Connections to some of the
Kids are out of school tomorrow again.
wealthiest, most established people all over the world. There's been a tremendous number of conspiracy theories and myths.
From he was running a huge black.
Oh, I agree. If you have a reason to use your passport, yeah. Like if you obviously there's no substitute if you're going to leave the country. But if you're not planning on leaving the country, it's an expense no one needs.
Blackmail operation to he was affiliated with spy agencies.
Through months of reporting and digging through documents,
People's diaries, letters, old photo albums.
the answer is he stole it.
The story starts in 1976
He stole it.
when Epstein is a teacher at the Dalton School in Manhattan. He is not worth a lot of money. And then one day he gets invited to a reception at an art gallery where he bumps into someone who introduces him to Ace Greenberg, who is a top executive at Bear Stearns, and very soon after that is offered a job. He quickly is named a partner at the firm and is making about $200,000 a year. At the same time, though, he is getting in all sorts of trouble. Right off the bat, he is found to have
That seems wild to go from school teacher to bump into a guy and you get hired at a fucking financial firm, and then you're a partner within like a year.
lied on his resume about the colleges he attended. After that, he gets busted for abusing his expense account, spending more than $10,000 on jewelry and clothing for his girlfriend, and even making an improper loan to one of his buddies from high school. But the thing that he has this mastery of is cultivating these relationships with people that are way above him in the hierarchy, and he gets very close very quickly to the firm's top executives.
What's remarkable?
It's got to be. So before he had money and power, it's got to be literally like he could just talk. He's the type of person that could talk his way into any situation, basically. Like, those people that like mirror or whatever. Like, no matter what you say, they're always interested. They always know exactly what you're talking about. They always have an excellent comeback to like kind of build you up, like the mirroring technique. The CIA teaches it, and some of the Army schools teach it. Like mirroring, you're building the person up and acting like you're super interested and engaged with them, and we have the same interests, and we both care about our families, and we both want our kids to go to a good college, and we're worried about the price of this, and you just mirror everything back to them. Something, because he just wasn't worth any. Like he's a high school math teacher. Then he gets hired at Bear Stearns, lies about all of his background, right? Basically his college degree, but still lying about a college degree doesn't get you partner. There are people that work like fucking 30 years overtime and never leave the office and just for a chance to be partner, and then like within a year he's partner there. Like it's insane.
About Jeffrey Epstein's ascent during this time is he faces almost no repercussions.
In 1981, he leaves Bear Stearns, and what we found is that he was on his own, engineering small scams left and right. He solicits money for a supposed oil deal, ends up absconding with $450,000 of his client's money. He solicits more money to invest in deals that look a lot like market manipulation. By the late 1980s, he is.
I think once you have the money, once you have a lot of money and people are like looking up to you like, how does this guy have all this money? It's a lot easier. I mean, look at Elon Musk. He gets people to invest in all kinds of stupid shit, right? He's going to build fucking tunnels and you know, super highways and this, that, whatever. Once you have the money and a reputation and a name and people like know who you are and they want to be like you, it's a lot easier for the scams. But it's the getting started part.
Up with a guy named Stephen Hoffenberg, who ultimately gets accused of running a huge Ponzi scheme, which
Trump didn't need to have the money because his name at the time was powerful, right? I'll agree he's made it more powerful, like his last name. But even Fred Trump was well known all through New York and in construction and all that shit, blah, blah, blah. So Trump gets a small couple $1 million loan from his dad, but he's already got the name.
Epstein is apparently linked to, although never officially accused of wrongdoing.
At the time, he was very convincing. He was excellent at separating wealthy people.
By the late 1980s, he is paired up with a guy named Stephen Hoffenberg, who ultimately gets accused of running a huge Ponzi scheme, which Epstein is apparently linked to, although never officially accused of wrongdoing.
At the time, he was very convincing. He was excellent at separating wealthy people, namely men, from large sums of money. Around that time, he meets the person that would become his most important.
I also think, so listen, if you're broke and I come to you and tell you I've got a deal where I could potentially double your money or we might lose it, and you give me your last $100 and I lose it, you're probably going to be fucking pissed out looking for me, trying to beat my ass and shit because you're broke, right? And I fucked you over. And I pump you up and I was a really good deal. I can almost guarantee it, blah, blah, blah. There's a slight chance we might lose it, but, you know, it's a really good deal. But if you're a multimillionaire and I come to you and you give me, let's say you're worth $10 million and you give me fucking $80,000 to invest. And I'm like, there's a really good chance, and I pump it up, build it up the same way, there's a small chance, and you lose it. I think you're more likely to write it off as like, hey, you win some, you lose some, you got to break a few eggs kind of deal, than if you're like a fucking desperate person, especially when it's someone who you think you're mimicking, right? When this person looks like they're extremely wealthy, whether they are or not, and you're like, these are the type of deals I do all the time. You got to put money in. There's a chance you can lose it, but there's so much upside. You know, you could turn it into 400 million or blah, 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 blah. Then you're more likely like, I took a chance, I lost it, but, you know, I'll get them on the next one kind of deal.
Important benefactor.
Les Wexner, who is the retail tycoon behind brands like The Limited.
Les Wexner paid him all his fucking money. This guy, this story's insane.
And Victoria's Secret. Epstein immediately earns Les Wexner's trust by claiming that Wexner's current financial advisor is ripping him off.
He gives Epstein blanket control over his finances, and Epstein uses that to enrich himself.
By the late 1980s, he was worth about $15 million, and he uses that illusion of...
So wait, when did we start? Hold on, I'm going to back up for a second.
How did Jeffrey Epstein have the financial backing to abuse hundreds of young women and girls?
The hundreds of millions of dollars that Epstein amassed, the palatial estates, and
to some of the wealthiest, most established theories and myths.
From he was running a huge blackmail operation to
months of reporting and digging through documents,
people's diaries, letters, old photo album. In 1976, when
in 76, he's worth $12,000 and is a high school math teacher. Remember, 1976, chat.
And Epstein uses that.
Advisor is ripping him off.
He gives Epstein blanket control over his finances, and Epstein uses that to enrich himself.
By the late 1980s, he was worth about
10 years later. 10 years later, he's worth $15 million, and this is in 1988 money, dude. $15 million. $15 million, 1988 is 41 million, even if he'd have done nothing else with it, which obviously you're going to invest it and get returns and compound interest and blah, 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 everything else. Even if you did nothing else with it, it is worth 41 million right now.
$15 million. And he uses that illusion of great success to build new connections. And a lot of people turn out to be very gullible.
All the while that he is lying and manipulating and exaggerating, he is continuing to abuse women and girls.
One of the things that we saw over and over again in our reporting.
And Andrew Tate's fucking bitch ass cheering him on.
A lack of accountability. The impunity with
saying you'll never be as cool as Epstein.
Epstein operated, it really emboldened him. And that's a pattern that we saw not just with financial crimes, but also when he began operating this huge sex trafficking operation.
He was able to amass this tremendous fortune that gave him the ability to operate above the law. And that's
I don't know what that,
again and again.
Did they have a timeline on that? And so 10 more years, he's worth over 100 million.
tremendous fortune.
99.
Gave him the ability to operate above the law. And that's what we saw again and again. How did Jeffrey Epstein have?
Oh, I got a clip to show you before we go to the next Jeffrey Epstein. World-renowned, pacifist, liberal, libertarian, classical liberal, he'll call himself, against state violence, against the death penalty, against government overreach, really looking out for the little guy, Tim Pool. Tim Pool. In what should be a clip that ends his career. Check this out.
When these people come out and go, Tim's a bootlicker for defending us, I'm like, no, you misunderstand. It's my boots. It's mine. I voted for them. I'm wearing the boot. I'm stomping on the ground.
Tim Pool famously is like anti-government, anti-overreach, against fucking the death penalty, against big government, against them, don't tread on me kind of vibe. While being what he calls a classical liberal, and he's screaming, I am the boots on state-sponsored violence. They're so dumb. First of all, you'll never be the boot, right? Just because the boot isn't stepping on you doesn't mean it never can or never will, right? It steps on the weakest of us, the most outcast, the ones that they can have power on, and those people disappear. Then the boot comes for more. But imagine saying this out fucking loud. It's almost as bad as that clip where he's like, my dad had 3 kids by the time he was my age. All I want's a family, and I can't even find a woman. Wonder what the problem is. It's definitely not me. It's definitely not me. It's the girls. The girls, they don't want to. That clip was bad. This one's worse.
When these people come out and go, Tim's a bootlicker for defending us, I'm like, no, you misunderstand. It's my boots. It's mine. I voted for them. I'm wearing the boot. I'm stomping on the ground. I ain't licking anybody. I'm clapping for these people that I said, please.
Imagine Tim brings up Tiananmen Square, right, where they ran over people with tanks. Imagine being like, yeah, I voted for the fucking Communist Party. Fucking losers. I'm the tank. Yeah, I get it. I don't care. I'm the tank.
Please go out and enforce the law.
This is funny for so many reasons. The first being, why? Why would anyone ever want to be the boot? Understand the metaphor, right? State enforcement, state power, executing American citizens, tyranny.
Even the boot typically is not the boot. The boot is an idea because we see how quickly a lot of these authoritarian governments will throw people under the bus. Right, and instantly say, they weren't supposed to do that. They weren't supposed to do that. They tried to save themselves. Even the boot is not the boots.
Tyrannical government. The thing the Second Amendment is supposed to protect y'all from is happening right now. And the moment it happens, it's like, fuck the Second Amendment, fuck the right to bear arms, fuck the Constitution. I love this shit. I voted for this shit. And you know what? I am the boot. You'll never truly be the boot, Tim. As you are on the sole of the
insane, isn't it?
Underneath. So this is the boot, and then you're like a little piece of feces right here. And as the boot slams on,
see his stuff come up on my social media feeds, or I see it on YouTube, and I'm always just kind of flabbergasted that he could have an audience.
I want to see if anybody else commented on it.
Anything he says, for the most part, appears to be. And he had a clip that I saw get circulated that I just thought, I said to myself, I could not believe how perfect it was in trying to understand this kind of.
Hold on, we're going to go into Tim Pool mode.
And it laid it out so bare, so crystal clear that I had to share it with you here. Listen to this and tell me if this
is the boot.
Describe.
We is the boot.
And B, that you don't understand the exact same thing, even if you haven't witnessed this on the combat sports side in particular. Weak men trying to co-opt what they see as the strength of others, whether or not it's strength or not.
I know this guy. This guy's Luke Thomas, I think.
Differentiate strength from abuse. So they lean into what others do as abuse as a sign of strength and then say, oh, well, I could do, that's me. I could do that. Right. So they're lionizing and they're celebrating the wrong kind of what they perceive to be strength. And then on top of it, taking credit for it.
First of all, when these people come out and go, Tim's a bootlicker for defending us, I'm like, no, you misunderstand. It's my boots. It's mine. I voted for them. I'm wearing the boot. I'm stomping on the ground. I'm clapping for these people.
Imagine believing. Now, this is 1,000%, or this is 180 in the opposite, 180 degrees in the opposite direction of what I used to believe, because imagine anybody saying, let's give the government unchecked, unopposed, unlimited power to go after those guys. And then those guys are gone. Who do you think the government's going to use that power on now? You think they're going to give it back? They're going to be like, okay, that was fun, guys. We're done.
that I said, please go out and enforce the law. And anybody else who's cheering for it, who voted for it too, we're all wearing the boots. You're the one crying. You're the one saying, you're coming.
You are nothing. You are nobody. You only see it in that form because you are weak. Because your internal constitution is weak. If it came time to stand a post with an M16A2 and actually put on the boots, you'd be the first one shitting and pissing yourself in formation. You couldn't do these jobs.
Matt Walsh said something similar without making it sound as bad as screaming, I am the boot.
Which are abusive in nature if your life depended on it.
If you're going to claim that you're no longer bootlicking, that you are the boot.
Carhartt, Tim. That's
become the boot.
Boot.
When these people come
even the libertarian page over on Facebook. Let's see if I can find it. What don't I need? I don't need that right there. Oh, let me bookmark this site first. Leaf vac manual. All right. Even the libertarian page on Facebook that I've been following has been freaking out about and making memes and calling these people out. What is it called? I comment on it all the time. Veterans for Libertarianism, maybe. Posting memes and calling this out like fucking left and right. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Observing human behavior confirms that some of us among us perfidious lust for unbridled power and the imposition of cruelty in its quest know no bounds and are bereft of human decency and the rule of law be damned. It's not a crime to party with Mr. Epstein. Ooh.
It's not a crime to party with Mr. Epstein. And so horrible is it's not a crime to email with Mr. Epstein. And some of these men may have done horrible things. And if we have evidence that allows us to...
Who are we defending when it's saying it's not a crime to party with Epstein? Is that little Elon Musk?
To prosecute them,
I can't do it. This beanie's burning me the fuck up already. I do wear it outside. It's just too goddamn hot right now. Even though it's only, what does that say, 52 degrees in the office? Still burning my head up.
Believe we will, but it's also the kind of thing that the American people need to understand that it isn't a crime to party with Mr. Epstein. It isn't a crime to have lunches.
I think I follow this page, right? Yes, following. This must be the page that I was talking about. They got a bunch of memes. We don't need a warrant, bro. ICE agents detain residents in Jersey City. By attacking birthright citizenship, President Trump is going against the Constitution, Supreme Court precedent, and American values. We're fighting this at the Supreme Court, the ACLU. And they've got a bunch of vet bros that are like, shut up, man. They're just undoing what Biden did. Proud autism mom sticker over here. And then it says, my son is a U.S. Marine. That checks out. Abolish ICE with the Gadsden flag. Fuck ICE. U.S. citizen injured by federal agents in Salem who demanded to see papers, union says. Pulled over a Latino woman on the way to pay her rent and picked up a birthday cake for her grandson. They shattered her window, pulled her from her car, and threw her on the ground. When they found her passport, which verified that she's a U.S. citizen, they just drove off. No license plate, no badge numbers, no name tags. Dear Jeff, I wrote you, but you still ain't calling. Oh, Elon Musk is staying. Epstein victims lawyers asked court to order DOJ to take down the Epstein Files website. The lawyer represents what the goddamn DOJ. All the DOJ had to do was protect the victims. And I understand that some of the names here or there might have gotten out. Right? First name, last name, maybe together, maybe even a date of birth, right? Text based. Right? They have to fix that. They have to take the file down, fix it, whatever. The DOJ published fucking child porn. They published pictures of underage victims in the release. The one thing they had to fucking get right. That's a cool picture for Black History Month. If I actually wanted to spend my time partying with young women, it would be trivial for me to do so without the help of a creepy loser like Epstein, and I would still have 99% of my mind available to think about other things, but I don't. It's such a weird defense to be like, if I wanted to be a pedo, I would be the best pedophile. And I wouldn't be a creepy one. I would be like a cool pedophile. I'm such a genius that I could easily be a pedophile without any help from Epstein at all. Wild take for a defense for Elon. Wild take. What's Rand Paul saying?
I saw no evidence. I saw a man that was retreating. I mean, he went to the middle of the street. He didn't even obstruct traffic. He let a car go through as the agents advanced.
Imagine claiming that. So their claim is now that they were telling them to get out of the road and they were stopping traffic. But we have it on video. He's directing traffic, like saying, hey, come on through, easy, slow down, you know, kind of deal.
He retreated to the side of the street. A woman is violently pushed to the ground, and he turns to help her, and that's when he is grabbed from behind. I saw no evidence of him assaulting the police.
Should Secretary Noem be fired?
I think we have to get through our hearing February 12th, and I think we have to see what the people who work for her say.
I did see the Clintons have decided to speak to Congress about their the Epstein files and their involvement.
But my advice,
Bill and Hillary,
if they're watching and they come to testify, is if you come in and you're going to justify.
I could understand them not speaking, right? Listen, I don't give a fuck if Bill's a pedophile, throw him under the goddamn jail, public execution, I don't care, right? Same thing with Hillary. But I can also understand them not speaking to Congress if they're being made into like the fucking whipping post, right? Like Trump won't show up. No one else will show up. They just want them because that's big names and Trump can point to it on the media and say, ah, ha, ha, look, that's the people they thought, you know, that kind of deal. But if they're actually doing a legitimate investigation, want to get to the bottom of it, they need to go speak.
That this man was aggressively assaulting your police officers. That cannot be acceptable, and that's why they're lacking in trust.
He also says he's concerned about the misstatements of others. The commander of the Border Patrol.
Well, you can't make threats like that on fucking Twitch.
Where an individual wanted to do maximum damage and massacre law enforcement.
The FBI director didn't tell the truth about Preddy's right to carry a gun.
You cannot bring a firearm loaded with multiple magazines to any sort of protest that you want. It's that simple. You don't have that right to break the law and incite violence.
The president's advisor, Stephen Miller, called Preddy an assassin. That's a lot of people.
It sounds like terrible judgment. I mean, terrible conclusions, incorrect conclusions, stating things that no one else believes. You can lie to your heart.
The vehicle pulled in front of her and stopped while another parked behind her. 3 men and women exited the vehicles wearing vests saying police, and one banged on her window demanding that she show them papers. When Maria did not immediately respond, the agent shattered her car window, forcibly removed her from the vehicle and threw her to the ground, causing numerous injuries, the statement said. As she was on the ground, the agents dumped her purse out and found her U.S. passport and left the scene. Just causing chaos, dude. Lols. You know who doesn't get killed at the Boston massacres? People who stay home and let the British soldiers do their job. Some of their memes are pretty fucking fire. They're trying to say that one of these ICE agents, I think it's the Ramirez or Raimundo Gutierrez, is gay. They're like, this woke liberal got killed by the gayest CBP officer ever, because they've got one picture of him in kind of like a homoerotic Halloween costume. I don't know if the guy's gay or not, but it's very weird that, like, haven't we all dressed up in like crazy fucking Halloween costumes? Pretty sus. I don't know. At this point, I'm curious if anybody connected to Trump is not a pedophile. This is Brett Ratner. He directed Melania's movie. I wonder who he's hugging on there. Why stop at ICE? Let's dismantle the entire Department of Homeland Security. When you brutalize immigrants, arrest journalists, try to steal elections, and use threats of imprisonment and violence to enforce conformity, don't complain about being called a fascist. Damn. Thanks to President Donald J. Trump tariff policies, America still is back. Wait a second. What is this scale? 80, 80.2, 80.4, 80.6, 80.8, 81.8 metric tons. They've literally only produced less than one more metric ton. And somehow it's shown it as doubled. What is this scale, bro? Someone says, as a comparison, here's the correctly scaled graph with 20 years of data. Oh, okay. So basically, like, they've made this much more. They do such crazy shit with graphs now, dude. Sometimes they'll have like two fucking y-axes or two fucking x-axes that don't correlate with each other. I don't know. Shit's wild when they're trying to make themselves look good. And the average Trump voter can't read a graph anyways. Like, literally, this is the most disingenuous graph. If you looked at this, you would think, oh my God, steel production has more than doubled. But if I told you it went from 81 total units to 81.8, does that sound like steel production has more than doubled? If it went from 81 to 190, sure. If it went from 81 to 81.8, what the fuck are these bars? This is the craziest scale ever. It's literally as if they... Hold on, I'll show you. See these two bars for 2024 and 2025? It's literally as if they just zoomed in. Like, see the very bottom lower corner of my magnifying? They zoomed into this. And that's what they're showing you. Without showing you this. That's a fucking insane graph, dude. Like, you would fail high school level math, middle school level math if you drew a graph like this. All right, anyways, we'll go on to some. There's another Epstein one I want to do. This one. This one says this newly released footage of Jeffrey Epstein is part of a file which runs for nearly 2 hours showing the late sex offender facing questions from an interviewer. It has not been confirmed who is asking the questions or when and why the footage was filmed. The video is part of millions of files released on Friday by the Justice Department. So in this one, they're literally asking him if he thinks he's the devil. He's like, no, but I got a good mirror. Like, what the fuck? There is a comedian. He's like an older guy. He's really funny. His whole comedy routine is how you can manipulate stats and data. And he makes jokes out of it, but he's fucking good at it. But it shows you how easily you manipulate shit.
Is your money dirty money? If you live,
that's Steve Bannon, right? Hold on, that's Steve Bannon.
Is your money dirty money? If you,
that's Steve Bannon asking that question, is it not? Listen to the "Is your money dirty money?" Listen.
Is your money dirty money? If you live it.
As soon as I heard the voice, that's Steve Bannon.
Is your money dirty money? If you live it. I just asked a question. Is your money dirty money?
No, it's not. So, in fact...
Why is it not dirty money?
Because I earned it.
But you earned it.
I earned it legally.
We went back to this before. You earned it. You earned it advising the worst people in the world, right, that do enormous bad things, and just to make more money. You're a mathematician. We walked into that clinic.
You know how much shit Trump has talked about. He even made that plaque and all this shit, trying to ruin any legacy Bill Clinton had. When Bill Clinton was like the greatest modern president we've had for the economy, by the way. Just so you know, right? Everybody made more money. He reduced the fucking deficit, balanced budget. Like, Bill Clinton was the fucking economy guy if you're like an economy voter. But Donald Trump thinks that Monica Lewinsky basically like invalidates anything Bill Clinton ever did. Right? So he puts it on the plaque. He talks about it. He talks about the office it happened in. He wants to bring that up over and over because that's the only scandal he's got on Bill Clinton, really. If he brings up the Epstein files, he gets implicated too. Does it surprise anybody that Trump was also fucking his secretary? And that's in the Epstein files? And Steve Bannon's laughing about it, saying, oh, she's got heavy-duty knee pads or whatever. And he stayed during the 2018 government shutdown. He stayed at the White House instead of going back to Mar-a-Lago to spend it with his family so he could fuck the secretary? Every fucking accusation. Every accusation is a confession of what the fuck they're doing. I'll show you the video in a minute.
Where they're giving that money out to these people that are in the most dire straits of poverty and sickness, and told them that the money was coming from a, what are you, class 3 sexual predator?
Tier 1.
What's tier 1's the highest and worst?
No, I'm
the lowest.
I'm the lowest.
You're the lowest. Okay, tier 1, you're the lowest. But a criminal.
Yes.
That the money came from them. What?
This is when Steve Bannon claims he was doing a documentary to expose Epstein, but really in the background they were trying to like revamp his image.
What percentage of people do you estimate? I understand you don't like probabilities. Do you estimate would say, I don't care, I want the money for my children?
I would say everyone said, I want the money for my children.
Did they know where the money came from?
I think if you told them, if I told them the devil,
100%.
the devil
himself.
The devil himself said, I'm going to exchange some dollars for your child's life.
Do you think you're the devil himself?
No, but I do have a good mirror.
It's a serious question. Do you think you're the devil himself?
I don't know. Why would you say that?
Because you have all the attributes. You're incredibly smart. And you remember, the devil is somebody who knows it. Is your money dirty money?
Do you think you're the devil himself? No, but I do have a really good mirror.
If you live,
I just asked a question. Is your money?
I don't like to hear him fucking talk. Fuck him. I don't like his voice. I don't like his mannerism. I don't like anything about him. Here is the Trump Secretary Epstein scandal.
You guys, there's one revelation from the new Epstein files I have not seen enough.
It's this dumpy looking bitch.
Trump may have had a relationship with his 28-year-old secretary while he was president. So this is Madeleine Westerhout, who worked for Trump during his first term. And this is a newly released exchange between Jeffrey Epstein and Trump's senior counselor at the time, Steve Bannon. So Epstein texted Bannon, do you know Mary Ann, Donald's new...
By the way, her name is Westerhout. H-O-U-T. Wester, W-E-S-T-R-H-O-U-T, Westerhout. He says Marianne, but it's autocorrect. He had to change it to Madeline.
Friend, Madeleine Westerhout, very funny. To which Bannon said, she is the receptionist. Good kid, Grundoon, which means lackey. To which Epstein said,
a lackey that came from the RNC. So he says, she is a receptionist, good kid, Grundoon, which means like a lackey, like an idiot, like a useful idiot, right? And she came from the RNC. Epstein says knee pads doing God's work.
Knee pads doing God's work. Which Bannon replied, LaMayo.
So Steve Bannon says, haha, funny. Then Epstein says he's much more calm. But the sight of him in the residence in his undies is hard to fathom. I'll give you details when I see you.
Epstein said he's much more calm, but the sight of him in the residence in his undies is hard to fathom. I'll give you details when I see you. Now, we don't know if what Epstein and Bannon are saying is true, but rumors have circulated for years that Trump had an inappropriate relationship with Westerhout. In fact, it's been previously reported that Trump told friends he was, quote,
my mama's name was Anna Lee. It was a good name.
Banging his assistant during the 2018 government shutdown.
There it is.
Which is why he stayed at the White House over Westerhout. In fact,
so there was already rumors flying around in the 2018 shutdown that Trump was fucking his secretary. And it was like inside political topics. It made it to some YouTube videos and shit, but it was mostly like inside politics in DC. Trump's fucking his secretary. So he doesn't, during this shutdown, the 2018 government shutdown, he doesn't go home to stay with his family. Red flag, right? Instead, he stays at the White House with her. This is like a month-long shutdown over Christmas, right? Over Christmas. He stays with his secretary.
It's been previously reported that Trump told friends he was, quote, banging his assistant during the 2018 government shutdown, which is why he stayed at the White House over Christmas instead of joining his family in Mar-a-Lago. If true, this would involve a sitting...
He didn't spend Christmas with his family. That's a huge red flag, right? I understand, like I've had to work through Thanksgiving and Christmases and been out of town and out of the country and all kinds of shit. But if you're the president of the United States, you're like, nah, I don't think I'm going to spend Christmas with my family.
president and a much younger subordinate, which raises serious ethical and legal questions. And it's eerily reminiscent to the Bill Clinton-Monica Lewinsky situation. Madeline was ultimately fired for bragging to reporters that she had a better relationship with Trump than his own daughters did, though she does deny that they had a romantic relationship. Newsgirls will keep going through every document that was just released and bringing you updates on what we find, so follow to stay in the loop.
So they called her the gatekeeper. She was like one of his top, he's got many secretaries and executive assistants. She was one of the top. They called her like the gatekeeper. Basically, like if Trump didn't know you and you needed to get to Trump somewhere, that was the way to get to her. She was a gatekeeper. She kept people out. She scheduled his times, his calls. She could put you on the schedule. She could take you off the schedule. She had that power, but in exchange for it, she was down on her fucking knees. In August 2019, after an off-the-record dinner with a journalist, she shared intimate details about the Trump family, leading to her abrupt departure once Trump learned of it. He expressed hurt and emphasized her confidentiality agreement, but later indicated forgiveness, according to Politico. Sorry. I wanted to see exactly what she said. White House operations to reporters. I want to see the details she shared. She was drinking and bragging about her access to Trump during his holiday in New Jersey. Worked with him since the first day he was in office. Separated employee. Disclosed details about the president's family. She also reportedly gossiped about broadcasters seeking access to the president and how she felt powerful. It's unclear how Trump learned about these conversations. Several White House officials had long suspected Westerhout of disloyalty to Mr. Trump, with one former official telling CBS she was a spy from day one who sought to use her proximity to the president to curry favor with his detractors. According to two books about the Trump White House, Miss Westerhout, a former RNC committee aide, an RNC aide, was upset about seen crying on election night once it became clear that Trump had won. She managed to land a reported $145,000 salary position as his executive aide. Trump himself would say, so it says a veteran journalist, Bob Woodward, once complained to Trump in an interview that his request to speak with him had not been passed along when he had spoken to aides such as Kellyanne Conway. Mr. Trump said he should have contacted Miss Westerhout. Madeline is the key. She's the secret. Contact her and you'll get an interview. According to CBS, Mr. Trump has often referred to her as my beauty Madeline. Ooh. 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 What is this?
Trump supporter and billionaire Bill Ackman just donated $10,000 to the ICE officer that...
Oh, that was to the one who shot Renee Good. I saw that on the GoFundMe website.
Shot Renee Good last week in Minneapolis. Ackman posted on X, "I'm a big believer in our legal principle that one is innocent until proven guilty," and said the officer was just doing his best to do his job.
Dude, I was on this local group we got. By the way, I'm behind enemy territory in my local Irwin Buzz Facebook page. I don't know why they allowed me in there. But they were talking about that the Minneapolis ICE protesters, I don't know if this is true or not, but had been nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize. And they're like, oh, Trump's going to be mad now, right? Because he gets fucking bent out of shape over the Nobel Peace Prize. and someone got in there and said, I don't think Trump's embarrassed. And I said, yeah, once you come out in the Epstein files, you've been fucking kids for years. What is there to be embarrassed about? They didn't like that. Then another one said, forget about the Epstein files, release the daycare files, as if there's all this daycare fraud going on in Minneapolis. And they just put this meme that said, forget the Epstein files, release the daycare files. And I said, oh God, are you worried that Trump went to the daycares to fuck kids there too? They hate me in this group. I love it.
And if you've never heard of Bill Ackman, buckle up. He's the founder of the prominent hedge fund Pershing Square, making his net worth $9.3 billion.
I dropped the link in Discord. If you have a Facebook account, come join me on the Irwin Buzz and tell everybody you're from Irwin.
Was actually
we'll gang up on him.
A Democrat until 2016 when he voted for Trump, and then things took a turn. First, he's been a very vocal supporter of and donator to Israel. During the war with Hamas, the Washington Post exposed that he was a part of WhatsApp group chats with Israeli military leaders aimed at changing the public narrative in favor of Israel. Also, when a group of Harvard students wrote a letter in support of Palestine, Ackman publicly demanded the names of every student who signed it to make sure his company never hires any of them. Ackman has also spread anti-vax beliefs and publicly praised RFK Jr. He said, I listened to RFK on several podcasts and a town hall and thought he raised important issues about vaccines. I don't feel like we've fully answered questions about the safety of all vaccines. During the New York mayoral election, Ackman was a main critic of Mamdani, donating nearly $2 million against Mamdani's campaign. He also said his policies could destroy the city and force businesses like his to leave. There's so much else on Ackman and his wife, who's an Israeli scientist and professor who's accused of plagiarizing her dissertation, but that's all we have time for today. Newsgirls will keep tracking any updates coming out about ICE, so follow to stay in the loop.
I want to see some more of their videos.
You guys, Trump is not the only powerful man implicated in today's Epstein file drop. There's also a very troubling allegation against billionaire Bill Gates. And what's crazy is it comes straight from Epstein himself, who said that Bill Gates got STDs from Russian escorts and then asked Epstein for help getting antibiotics he could secretly slip to his wife Melinda without her knowing. So this is an email Epstein sent in the middle of his fallout with Bill Gates. He said, to add insult to the injury, you then implore me to please delete the emails regarding your STD, your request that I provide you antibiotics that you can surreptitiously give to Melinda, and the description of your penis. And then in a follow-up email, Epstein wrote, from helping Bill to get drugs in order to deal with the consequences of sex with Russian girls, to facilitating his illicit trysts with married women, to being asked to provide Adderall for bridge tournaments. After reading that, my heart just breaks for Melinda Gates because she obviously had no idea that was going on, and it's so private and personal, and now it's just out there for the world. Newsgirls will keep bringing you reporting as we're going through the files. We've already done a couple videos on the—
There's some wild shit. They're still going through the Epstein files, but there's a lot that come out.
Debut in the Epstein files. So this was an email from Melania to Ghislaine Maxwell, who's Jeffrey Epstein's right hand. Dear G, how are you? Nice story about J.E., Jeffrey Epstein in New York Mag. You look great in the picture. And this is the picture, this infamous picture that we've all seen a million times at this point. I know you're very busy flying all over the world. How is Palm Beach, aka where Jeffrey Epstein conducted all of his sex abuse? I cannot wait to go down. Give me a call when you're back in NY. Have a great time. Love, Melania. We know that Melania and Trump started dating around the time that Epstein and Trump were friends, but Melania's been working overtime to keep her hands clean of this whole mess. She even sued the Daily Beast for suggesting that Epstein introduced the two of them, but now these new emails suggest that they were all pretty close around the time that they started dating. Because we also found this email of someone saying to Epstein, I remember flying back with Donald on his plane the first weekend I went to visit you in Florida was the weekend he met Melania, and he kept on coming out of the bedroom saying, wow, what a hot piece of ass. Nuts.
Damn.
Hope you're enjoying Saudi. Elon Musk was also pretty heavily featured in this Epstein drop, and not in the best light because he seemed pretty desperate to visit Epstein on his island. Here's an email from Elon to Epstein saying, what day and night will be the wildest party on your island? He even tried to introduce Epstein to his brother. Here's an email in 2012. Can J.E. do coffee with Kimball Musk at 10 a.m.
What the fuck? Oh, sorry. That was my bad.
On Friday, October 5th. And keep in mind, this is after Epstein was accused of sex crimes in 2008. And like everyone, Elon has tried to distance himself from the whole thing. He even told Vanity Fair, Epstein tried repeatedly to get me to visit his island. I declined, even though we know that's not true. Like, here is an entire back and forth between Elon and Epstein in 2013 about when Elon should visit his island. Anyway, this is a nice break from some of the heavier, darker, more disturbing Epstein files in this new drop. We did cover a lot of those, so make sure to check that coverage out on our page. We'll continue to dig through these files because there's more than 3 million, so make sure to follow the Newsgirls to stay in the loop. We're seeing some material.
This is the first time I found this channel, but I like how they just kind of give out the details, right?
The Epstein files suggesting that Jeffrey Epstein might have had a secret child 15 years ago. So Andrew Windsor's wife, Sarah Ferguson, emailed Epstein in 2011, don't know if you're still in this BBM, but heard from the Duke that you've had a baby boy. Even though you never kept in touch, I'm still here with love, friendship, and congratulations on your baby boy. And we know that Andrew and Epstein were super close. And there are just a lot of references to pregnancies and
what the fuck?
Babies in this file drop. So one woman told investigators both Maxwell and Epstein talked with her separately about having a child. Epstein asked if she wanted children, then told her that they would have to meet his standards. Epstein told her, I don't want my seed to be diluted. Maxwell said that they should find someone for Epstein to have a child with. Then she
I don't want my seed to be diluted. God, this guy's fucking disgusting.
Well, it can't be you because you're getting a bit old. Here's this diary entry from an Epstein victim. You can see this pregnancy scan here. It's at about 20 weeks. And this diary entry is super disturbing. Like, look at these portions that I highlighted. Superior gene pool. Why me? It makes no sense. Why my hair color and eye color? That feels very Nazi-like. And then towards the bottom, I miss the person I was before I was made into what feels as a human incubator. And we know from previous reporting that Jeffrey Epstein had this obsession with creating a superhuman race. We know that he wanted to impregnate women in his New Mexico ranch. The New York Times had reported on this years ago, and reportedly he wanted 20 pregnant women walking around at a time. Obviously, nothing is for certain yet. Sarah Ferguson hasn't responded to comments, but what we do know is what Epstein was planning to leave behind in his will. So his most recent girlfriend, Karina Shalake, was supposed to get his entire private island, $50 million in his Upper East Side townhouse. So maybe she'd have some answers, and maybe this is just gossip. And
the only thing that I've seen with incredibility is that Epstein claimed that he had an email of the description of Bill Gates' penis.
Sarah Ferguson was wrong, but it's hard for me to believe that Epstein wouldn't be able to have a baby if he really, really wanted to. We'll continue digging through the Epstein files, so make sure to follow the news girls to stay in the loop.
All right, we got some more stuff to go to. The news girls. I'm going to follow that channel. Oh, I can't believe I forgot to mention this. There's a new, I hate Dr. Pepper. It tastes like black licorice and asshole. I fucking hate Dr. Pepper. I think they should take about 22 of the 23 secret ingredient flavors out of it. It's fucking disgusting or whatever. But if you're like Mariah and you love to torture yourself with a little Dr. Pepper, there's a new Dr. Pepper theme song. I swear to God, I think it's battery acid. I think the secret ingredient's battery acid. Dr. Pepper is fucking trash, dude. It is the worst shit ever. Like, it's like if you want your tonsils to be in pain. I don't understand it. But if you like Dr. Pepper, brand new theme song coming from what I would assume is Eastern Europe.
Our theme song for Dr. Pepper. Dr. Pepper, Dr. Pepper, Dr. Pepper, beautiful sock. Dr. Pepper, Dr. Pepper, Dr. Pepper, beautiful sock.
If you're missing the lyrics are Dr. Pepper, Dr. Pepper, Dr. Pepper, beautiful sock. And I thought maybe Bert had some input on this. He's a songwriter, right?
Dr. Pepper, beautiful sock. Dr. Pepper, Dr. Pepper, Dr. Pepper, beautiful sock. Dr. Pepper, Dr. Pepper, Dr. Pepper, beautiful sock. Dr. Pepper, Dr. Pepper, beautiful sock, beautiful sock. Dr. Pepper, Dr. Pepper, Dr. Pepper, beautiful sock. Our theme song for.
Not bad, huh? That also, I discovered these people when they did an Imagine Dragons cover song. He's very musically talented. I'll tell you that much. Let's see if we can find where they did the Hyundai.
Hyundai, Hyundai, rock you. Hyundai, Hyundai.
God damn, he's heavy on that Y. Huh? Hyundai, Hyundai.
Rock you. Hyundai, boom, boom. Hyundai, boom, boom. Hyundai, Hyundai, rock you.
Dude, if I drove a Hyundai, god damn, that's a heavy Slavic. If I drove a Hyundai, I would definitely be jamming out to this shit.
Hyundai. Hyundai driver, Hyundai driver, Hyundai, Hyundai driver.
Hyundai driver.
Hyundai, Hyundai.
Nailed it, bro.
Driver. Woo.
Oh, here it is. It's like if someone told a fetus to imagine the Imagine Dragons. It's almost there, guys. I feel like I'm an Imagine Dragons concert.
Get me out of leave it. Woo, believe it. Woo, get me out of leave
нажимая на эту ссылку, I loved it. Сейчас с левой стороны. Bro, is that not the song? Там можно, короче, я слышал, типа заработать деньги. They need to do one for an Altima driver. You just going after black people? The first comment on this says, honestly, at this point, it's my fault for just having internet. His mom is so like, his mom's never heard the song. It's like if someone heard the song in the U.S. and then described it to him over FaceTime, and then he described it to her only using interpretive dance. Get the sock. Is his neck leaking? What's the towel for? He's dancing under where the roof drips on Thursdays. She has no idea what's going on. It reminds me when, you remember when the trend used to be like, you have Coca-Cola and then you would get like this weird communist knockoff. We have Cola the Greatest or whatever, and it would be like a horrible version of it. That's what it is. Oh my God, the camera's moving. Got a good laugh. This bitch has got to get some fucking something. Some better socks. Some tiny little suspenders for her socks. You're gonna be doing all that stomping and you ain't even got the right socks on. She's pulling her socks up to the beat. Schlingnan. I love it. Dude, this is my channel now. Locust. Like looking in a mirror, ain't it, Dr. J?
Whoa, what the fuck? She ain't on a good plan.
Show us what you've got.
Эй, девчонки, никто не потерял офигенного парня. Курить я бросил, но тебя бы никогда не бросил.
He's very enthusiastic, if nothing else.
Курить я бросил, но тебя бы никогда не бросил. Wake up in the morning, shitting on the
Wake up in the morning, shitting on the linen. What the fuck was that, dude?
Wake up in the morning, shitting on the come across it's on make me turn I'm from it, just in get it. Come across it's on make it son of what you said. Don't stop, make it pop, smickers on, smickers up, she nice.
Schmickens on and schmickens off. Don't stop, make it pop, schmickens on, schmickens off. What? God damn, dude. I like these lyrics better.
Stop, make it pop, smickers on, smickers up, she nice on my glass, and the she light. Don't stop, make it pop, smickers on it. Oh, 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 oh. Wake up in the morning, come across it on make me turn I'm from it, just and get it. Come a glass and son, making son of what you said. Don't stop, make it pop, smickers on, smickers up, she nice on my glass.
What's a schmickens on, schmickens up? What is that part?
Okay.
Oh my God. His mom is very supportive. And I think, honestly, if they're in on the joke, this is a very well done channel. If they're not in on the joke, okay.
Стоп. Ноту не дотягивай, кити. Бык тупогуб, ударение на губ. Бык тупогуб, губочки, бычок. Скандалы вечерами. Эй, девчонки, никто не потерял офигенную пару. Если она купит мне мороженое, это свэг. Если ты поставишь мне сейчас лайк, то это свэг.
Poland's got talent. Eastern Bloc's got talent.
Kokosnen, fa. Kokosnen.
He's doing all kinds of cool shit here.
Эй, девчонки, никто не потерял офигенного
Look, Atsuko. Instead of a rice dungeon, they got fucking pickled eggs or something.
парня. А ты потерялся. Манку помидором поедите. Майкл Джексон, Алсия. Ласта Пистолифа. Майкл Джексон, прости. She knows. She knows. All eyes. All eyes. All right. My name is Chicky Slim Shady. Aston Shady, Aston Shady. No, please stand up. Все.
He nailed it. Sometimes he hits it and you got to give it to him.
Девчонки, никто не потерял. Она меня не любит, она мне разбила сердце. Я кладу всю свою боль на эти килогерцы. Я тяжелый человек, тяжелый, будто берсы. Не учи.
Nailed it.
Where I hear. I'll be back in the morning. I know and I see my working, losing a play.
The real Slap Shady.
Look at my face and me shaggy for me, cause beyond and now I can shake, you know, Rick.
The splickins on, splickins up.
Shine out and making a
Nailed it.
my wrist. Shine and making a shaking my Rick.
Let's see what his most popular videos are. That's got to be it, right? Can I sort by popular? There we go. Oh, God. This kid needs a bra. What's he doing? Apparently they've added a new cast member. I had no idea.
I'll be back in the morning, starting to wind the kilo and my leg in the cannon of play. It's a human against the cannon.
Why is he wearing a helmet?
For me, it's the lightning.
Oh. Is he going to do the moonwalk? Ow. Is this his birthday party? Or is he entertainment for someone else's birthday party? Someone said if Michael Jackson's really dead, explain this. Get it. These are the guys who invented the jiggle coin, by the way. I wasn't going to reveal that to the end, but these are the guys who invented Brad Barton's jiggle coin.
Just spend on the same, but the family on the same. I tried on the same, but the family on the bed. Oh, ooh.
Nailed it.
Just on the bed. Oh, ooh. The switches on the same, on the wealthy.
Oh, this kid's name's Max.
On the same. I tried on the same, but the wealthy on the bed. Oh, ooh. It's only on the bed. I'm broken, tell me broken, let me a hostel, tell me broken, give me a hostel, tell me broken, tell me a hostel, tell me broken.
How do they say so synced up is what I always want to know. There's no way I could do that. There's less than a fucking 10-second delay here.
Get me out of weed, baby. Get me out of weed, just tell me out of weed now.
Someone said it's either Russia or Kentucky. Don't tell me which.
Just spend on the same, but the family on the same. I tried on the same.
My name is Chicky Slim Shady. Aston Shady, Aston Shady. No, please stand up. Please stand up. So. My name is Chicky Slim Shady.
Eminem has been quiet since this video came out. I will say that. Right. You guys remember this throwback video?
BC. Director, it sounds like you don't want to tell us. Did you tell the Attorney General that Donald Trump's name was in the Epstein files? Remembering your oath to tell the truth, did you ever tell Donald Trump his name is in the files?
I have never spoken to President Trump about the Epstein files.
Did you ever tell the Attorney General that Donald Trump's name is in the Epstein files?
The Attorney General and I have had numerous discussions about the entirety of the Epstein files and the reviews conducted by our team.
Did you tell the Attorney General that Donald Trump's name is in the Epstein files?
And we have released where President Trump's name is in the
It's a simple question. Did you tell the Attorney General that the President's name is in the Epstein files?
During many conversations,
Slavalations, I like that.
On the matter of Epstein, we have reviewed.
The question is simple.
Who
did you tell the Attorney General that Donald Trump's name is in the
We prefer Eastern European mountain folk.
Epstein files? Yes or no?
Why don't you try spelling it out?
Yes or no, Director?
Use the alphabet.
Yes or no?
No, ABC.
Director,
EF,
it sounds like you don't want to tell us. Did you tell
the Attorney General and I have had on the matter of Epstein, we have reviewed.
Did you tell the Attorney General that Donald Trump is in the Epstein files? He could say no. He'd be like, we had plenty of conversations, but no, I never directly said Donald Trump's, right? He could just say no. He won't. He goes all the way to using the alphabet.
The question is simple. Did you tell the Attorney General that Donald Trump's name is in the Epstein files? Yes or no?
Why don't you try spelling it out?
Yes or no, Director?
Use the alphabet.
Yes or no?
No, ABC.
Director,
EF,
it sounds like you don't want to tell us. Did you tell the Attorney General that Donald Trump's name was in the Epstein files?
Why don't you try serving your constituency by focusing on reducing violent crime in this country and the number of pedophiles that are...
That's what they all go to, right? Well, you've got crime in the area you represent. We're trying to reduce the number of pedophiles, starting with the pedophile in chief.
Legally harbored in sanctuary cities in California. I'll work with you on that.
Regular order, Mr. Chairman. I'm the law's gentleman from California. Did you tell the Attorney General that Donald Trump's name is in the Epstein files?
The question has been asked and answered.
You have not answered it, and we will take your evasiveness as a consciousness of guilt.
BC.
Director.
That's a throwback to September, by the way. Also, I don't know if you guys got as much snow as we did, but a great time to get out there and go sledding, right? Everybody loves a good
we out here.
Good sled toss. Full fucking scorpion, dude. Full fucking scorpion.
We out here.
That's 200 pounds on his fucking eyeball. 180. And there's kids at the bottom of the hill. So clearly, this hill is sleddable. There are two tiny children at the bottom of the hill laughing at him.
We out here.
Robert Subscribes for 2 months. Hey, you bro and chat.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the resubscription. Robert W. Jr. maybe? Thank you for the resubscription. I appreciate it. Damn, dude.
Yeah, here.
That's tough.
What are you doing running? And you're saying it was really good out?
It's the perfect texture for running. Very low impact on its dry snow, so your feet don't get wet.
All right, thanks. We've seen a lot of people out
Doesn't
here,
she fall immediately?
running, sledding, just enjoying it. One thing, oops, that can happen, unfortunately. What are you doing running?
Is that a thing they do?
Sit back with a blunt. I'm gonna sit back with a blunt.
Shout out to all those that came before me who paved the way so that I don't have to work as hard when I can just step in those clean footsteps. Shout out to all those that came before.
Okay. That got out of hand pretty quick. Elon Musk trying to get into Epstein's Island. Be like.
Hello, Jeff. I heard you're having epic parties on your island, and I can't think of anyone more deserving of an invite than the meme lord himself. Would love to hear back from you. Dear Big Steed, it appears my last message never got through. After a long day of being real-life Iron Man,
We used to go to the golf course. There's a good hill at our local golf course, too.
too would like to party and let loose with a bunch of young babes. When's the wildest party you're throwing? I'll be there. Merry Christmas, Big Jeffy. I know it's 6 a.m. and my family's in the other room, but I really love to visit the island. And trust me, a peaceful island experience is the opposite of what I'm Hey, Elon. Looks like the UN is meeting this Friday.
Even when Elon Musk is seen out in public, and he's clearly not, he's always has a fedora on, and his aura is that of a Reddit mod. 100%. Neckbeard. Well, technically, when you say the GDP of the country, that's Elon Musk.
And let's just say there will be a lot of interesting people at my place. You in? Oh, sorry. I run two
He doesn't even get the code words.
large companies, and the UN is meeting this Friday. And let's just say there will be a lot of interesting people at my place. You in? Oh, sorry. I run two large companies, and I'm about to launch arguably the most advanced rocket of all time. Watching diplomats do nothing seems like a silly use of my time. Are you fucking stupid? I'm talking about children. God, you're so annoying. This is why we never invite you. Hello, Jeff. I heard you're having
epic party. Who would be better than the meme lord himself? Oh, fuck. I don't need Epstein to be a super billionaire fucking pedophile. I'd be the best super billionaire fucking pedophile all by myself. Idiots. Yes, there's a clip going around where, oh, by the way, did I show you guys this? The Republicans in my hometown are just admitting to it now. I left a comment about being a boot. I said, did your bootlicking pray for Trump post not do it? So this guy came into the Irwin Buzz group that I was talking about earlier. It was like, I'm going to have to leave the Irwin Buzz. It doesn't seem like it's adequately moderated. And I was like, oh, he posted an image of like, pray for Trump, the evil devil, and the Satan worshipers are trying to attack him. He needs the Lord and our prayers more than ever or some shit. And I said, oh, did your bootlicking please pray for Trump post not go over as well as you thought it would? And this is his response. Better to lick the boot of a patriot than shake the hand of a fool. Is it though? Not metaphorically, not literally, not in any way, shape, or form. What? You're like, yeah, we're licking his boot, but at least I don't have to shake hands of people I disagree with. Okay. That's what you say. This fucking, I'm telling you, this Facebook group is wild. I think I just got a notification from it. Let's go see what they said. Ron Grubb in America. One of them's under an anonymous account. I said, your pray for Trump, why I lick these boots post didn't go how you imagined or what? Better to lick the boot of a patriot than shake the hand of a fool. This is exactly why I'm leaving this group of clowns. Because I said, just admit it there, bud. This is a clown show. This is exactly why I'm leaving this group. Ooh, that's a good one. I'm not being chased away. Some of the content in this group is not what I had expected, and it's poorly administered. Yeah, one of the guys' names is America. Let me show you the post he posted before this. Hold on. The reason he's leaving is because people called him out when he posted this. Dear God, protect this man. He's battling an evil we can't even imagine. Keep him safe from those who seek to destroy. Why would you come if he really thought this is a page for local announcements, like a local community page? Why post this? The fuck does this do? And I left a comment and I said, is that why he was balls deep in all those children? Because the devil made him do it? The devil put him balls deep in a bunch of 13-year-olds? Is that what happened? They don't like me in this group. So they're confused, by the way. There's another group called The Irwin Buzz. And The Irwin Buzz is heavily moderated, heavily MAGA. You can't say anything against Trump. You get banned. I've been banned from it for years. This is just called Irwin Buzz. And they get confused and come over here and spread their MAGA shit. It's pretty funny. I dropped a link in the Discord if you got a Facebook page, come join it. Fuck. Looking for someone to hem some curtains for me. I regret having to do this, but I'm leaving the Irwin Buzz group. This group is very mismanaged. Jesus Christ. Imagine any one of these stupid motherfuckers saying, look, I don't like him, but we should pray for Biden, right? He is in charge of our country. I don't want him to fail. It's like hoping the pilot fucking crashes the plane you're on. You think you'll ever see that? Of course not. This is the one. Minneapolis protesters nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize. Let me go here. Someone says, they said that Trump's going to be mad about it. Release the daycare files. And I said, are you afraid Trump was fucking kids there too? Oh, America. Can't even come in here and under his real name. Release the daycare files. What, was Trump fucking them over there or just Epstein's Island? What? I was confused. God damn. The group they think they're in is this group. It's a bunch of fucking boomers. You can't find the right group. They think they're in this group, which is heavily, heavily, heavily moderated, pro-Trump, pro-MAGA. Nobody can disagree. They even started deleting the very normal, very like fucking sane post of our local Democratic Party, like the Unicoi County Democratic Party. That was just like voted statistics and about, they even started deleting that shit. So that's the group they think they're in. They're just not. I think Mariah was arguing with the America guy the other day. Anybody that comes to like one of these groups and can't even post under their actual name is a fucking pussy, right? Clearly. This is the account they're posting under. And I know who it is, obviously, because they only have 2 friends. One guy and his wife. America. This is the account they post under. Oh, they got 5 friends now. 5 friends. I'm sorry. View profile. Imagine having to make a town of 1,400 people and you got to make a fake account, a burner account to express your actual views. Stacey Hepding always comes to this guy's defense, and he's friends with Fred Hepding. This is exactly who the fuck it is. 100%. 100% that's who. It's Fred Hepding. And he's too afraid to fucking go under his real account, even though he'll go in there and back himself up, being like, yeah, I agree with you, America. Fucking retards, dude. That's what it's like living in the town that hung an elephant, I guess.
Okay, turning now to the intelligence connections. We've collated all of the most important stuff, and we're going to lead off with an extraordinary bit of audio in which Epstein appears to have secretly recorded a meeting between himself and between Ehud Barak, the former prime minister of Israel, talking here to Ehud Barak specifically about the company Palantir. Let's take a listen.
Wild. You're telling me Jeffrey Epstein was also involved in spreading Palantir across the globe?
He thought there was two cyber companies. Look out, and even though I know Peter, I've never met Peter Thiel. And everybody says he sort of jumps around and acts strange, like he's on drugs.
Smoking, yeah. He looks under drugs.
However, he has a company called Palantir.
Claims he's never met Peter Thiel, but he has emails with him.
P-A-L-L-E-N. T-I-E-R. Palantir is Peter Thiel's company. And look out.
Palantir, P-A-L-A-N-T-I-E-R?
Yes.
No. P-A-L-A-N-T-I-R, I think. Palantir.
How do you write T-H-I-E-L-L-Y?
T-H-I-E-L.
Yeah. L-L-Y.
No. T-H-I-E-L-L.
Okay.
So he thought that Peter would put you on the board of Palantir. Peter Thiel is one of the best. I've never met him. He's going to come here next week. So I wanted to talk to him. Talk to you. Okay. He and Andreessen. It's called Andreessen Horowitz. Andreessen Horowitz. That's what they pay Larry $1 million a year. Just to advise him.
Andreas and
A-N-D-R-E-E-S-O-N. Andreessen and Horowitz.
And Howard.
H-O-R-O. Horowitz.
For a guy that they claim, sometimes they claim he never blackmailed anybody, and other times they claim he, like Howard Lutnick claims he's the best fucking, most prolific blackmailer of history. He sure does record a lot of stuff, doesn't he?
Horowitz. Yes. What are the lobbyists? What they are?
They are the biggest venture capital people in Silicon Valley.
Well, bigger than Sequoia or Kleiner Perkins?
These are the new Kleiner Perkins. Everybody, these are the smart boys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So those two companies right away, in terms of, I said that we need now, in the next 3 weeks, if you're going to leave.
Very important find there, Ryan. That was from a multiple-hour clip, so I don't even know who went through that. Props to whoever did. But you can see there, Epstein advising Ehud Barak. Ehud Barak's the former prime minister of Israel. He's also former head of military intelligence. Founded a security company, which, of course, was invested in by Jeffrey Epstein, which has long been a suspected intelligence, Mossad potential connection. Let's continue.
The spelling there also extraordinary.
Disastrous. But I mean, that's part of the crazy part is like the idea this was some sort of genius. He's literally an imbecile. At least from what we can see here, he was just good at one thing, and that one thing was appearing to be very socially connected, and of course his own disgusting predilections. Let's go to the next one. I found this actually in the files. This is a exchange between Ehud Barak and Epstein. I'll set the stage. This is ahead of a meeting with a Qatari investment fund. And he says, "Hi, Jeff, are you going to be in London on Thursday?" Epstein replies, "Unfortunately not. You should make clear I don't work for Mossad." Smiley face.
Holy fuck. Smiley. What's the smiley face at the end?
Ehud Barak says, "You or I?" Question mark. And Epstein says, "That I don't." Smiley face. Okay. That you should make clear.
Make it very clear that I definitely don't work for Mossad. Wink.
It was completely unprompted, ahead of a meeting, apparently, with the Qataris for a major investment deal, where he's like, "Hey, just make clear that I don't work for Mossad." So clearly, what do they think? He works for Mossad.
Well, and Ryan made the comment here. He's like, yeah, he doesn't. That's true. He doesn't work for Mossad. It's more like Mossad works for him.
Right. Yeah. That's
Ryan's assessment.
Right. That was Ryan's assessment. So yeah, I mean, I guess technically correct. Right. Whenever it comes to that, this is the next one. In 1999, Epstein anonymously FOIA'd the CIA to obtain all CIA records that might reflect an open or otherwise acknowledged agency affiliation between himself and the CIA. In 2011, he wrote again to see if CIA had acknowledged any links with him in the 12 years since. Now, why would somebody do that if there was
Why would you FOIA yourself through the CIA?
No connection at all. By
If there was, if there wasn't a connection.
That ensured the public would not know that Epstein was the requester of CIA records. This is all from Mike Benz, and all the correspondence would remain between the CIA and Epstein's law firm. So as you can show out, it's pretty crazy that you're even FOIA-ing the CIA back in 1999, asking for any records about yourself. Why would you want any some sort of acknowledgement from the CIA of your potential prior past service? And this is why, remember the year 99. This is years after where many of us who have been researching and studying the Epstein case have suspected when his intelligence connections began in the 1980s, and there was that alleged involvement with the arms traffickers from Douglas Lease to the Khashoggis, Adnan Khashoggi. You had his potential involvement here with some Iran-Contra financing deals back in the 1980s, the ability to move money around Steve Hoffenberg and the prior association there with moving money offshore, a skill very, very important for the U.S. intelligence community. 1999, before, again, the conviction. So there, the potential of why exactly he's FOIAing his own records, there's multiple things, right? He could be trying to force them to acknowledge their relationship with him. He could be trying to put them on notice for his relationship now previously. But following up back in 2011, there's some, again, this is my own personal suspicion. My suspicion, and this is backed up a little bit by some other analysis, is that he was furious, potentially, that they had cut association with him potentially around that time after his conviction. Now, remember, they potentially may have gotten him out of the conviction or some sort of intelligence connection, might have gotten him the sweetheart deal, but by 2011, he's jonesing to either try and force them to acknowledge the relationship, to bring him back in, and or potentially threaten to reveal some of what he knows. It is open and shut insane.
You post
a record from 1999, prior to any conviction, prior to any investigation into Epstein. That is a clear cut, clearly shows some sort of association that happened to exist at that time. This is not something they're going to acknowledge anyway, even in some sort of a FOIA. It seems to have been putting them on notice, potentially trying to restart something, but at the very least, it does show that some sort of connection, at least in Epstein's mind, had believed to have been there for many, many years, going back almost more than 20 years ago now.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, you're the CIA. You don't really want people to know you're connected with Jeffrey Epstein for.
I don't know if that'll get you banned or not from that one.
Well, have been a little shot across the bow of
Trump fucks children.
This could all be made public, and I know that you know, and so I'm just sending this in so that you see it, and so it's almost like could have been almost like a threat, and we know the way he operates, right?
All right, so this might not interest you, but you guys know if you've been here long enough, I'm kind of like a weird aviation nerd. Even though I don't have a license or nothing, I don't know. This video might not interest you all, but I want to watch it. So, the Greg Biffle crash? So, NASCAR legend Greg Biffle crashed and died with his whole family. It's very tragic. His pilot is that he's had for a while. Basically, the theory about it, his pilot was qualified on his plane. This plane is notorious for the front nose compartment, like storage compartment popping open. Those doors cause extra drag during approach and landing, and the plane stalls out. Well, the pilot was clearly qualified on this plane. Greg Biffle is also qualified on this plane. So technically, every time Greg Biffle flew, his pilot was supposed to be flying, and he was supposed to be in the co-pilot's seat. But I don't think they did. Okay. The pilot's son, who is a pilot also, but not qualified on that plane, I think that he was the co-pilot and Greg Biffle was in the back with his family, which should not be allowed. And the son might have even been flying. I understand, it's this moment to create father, son flying together, but he's not qualified on that plane, dude. And here's what happens when a bunch of things go wrong at once. And I think that's what happened, but I don't know yet. I'm getting ready to click on the video and we're going to find out. It says the wrong person was flying, so I'm guessing it's going to be the son.
So the prelim report has some interesting information here. Something we suspected that we reported quite a bit on was the idea that we had a right seat pilot on the Citation 2 who was not certified. So on left seat was Dutton Sr. He was an airline transport rated pilot in the left seat, and his adult son, who held a private pilot certificate, single engine land and instrument rating, was a passenger in the right seat. That would be Dutton's son.
He had a private pilot certificate with a single engine land and instrument. Was all he had. And 9 times out of 10, who cares who's in the fucking other seat, right? Until you have an emergency. And one pilot's flying and the other pilot is going through the procedures and checking them off. So flaps, the fucking throttle, engine, all this stuff, landing gear, everything.
Jack. Rear seat passenger with private pilot certificate and ratings for multi-engine land, instrument airplane, rotorcraft helicopter was positioned near the cockpit in the cabin area.
So Greg Biffle was in the back with his family.
That would be Biffle. So Biffle was sitting right behind the 2 pilots. In the left seat, you had Dutton Sr., who was certified, rated for that aircraft for the Citation 2.
But I can understand why they wanted to do it too, right? Like, if I was a pilot, my son was a pilot, and this is the first time we're together on this plane, let's fly it together. It'd be awesome,
Had 17,000 hours of flight time, former airline pilot, former Delta pilot. His son was sitting next to him in the right seat, who had 170-something hours of flight time, all in single-engine, light-piston aircraft. Definitely was not qualified for that seat. And then behind them, you had Biffle, who was qualified. Most likely, they don't state here whether he was qualified to sit in the right seat or not. I think he was probably qualified to sit in the right seat. He had the proper training in the citation, too, to sit in the right seat, and he had a multi-engine rating, and that would have qualified him under Part 91 domestic operations to sit in that seat. So we kind of suspected that early on, and that has been validated, confirmed here. So they start with the engine start here, and there's something here that maybe is related. So they were started using onboard battery power. In citation 2, they probably have what's called starter generators, something I'm familiar with, I've used in the past. It is a starter. The motor there actually acts as a starter, so it produces rotational forces to start the engine, and then once the engine started, you have to flip a switch to turn it into a generator, at which point it starts actually dragging against rotation to produce electricity. So a starter generator, I'm guessing, is what they have aboard the citation. The engine was started using onboard battery power, which would be normal. There was an unsuccessful start of the number 1 engine. We don't know if this is going to be a factor later or not. They did report some engine issues.
I think basically the police force is allowed to use whatever badge they want. It's like a historical thing, but they still use 5-point, 6-point, and 7-point stars.
On the CVR, there was a discussion. We'll get into that in a minute, but they couldn't start the number 1 engine initially. Eventually, they were able to start the number 1 engine. Both engines were started 9:53, not long before taking off. So taxi to the runway to take off. During taxi, the pilot and 2 pilot-rated passengers, so Jack Dutton in the right seat and then Greg Biffle sitting behind him, discussed the thrust reverser indicator lights for an unspecified engine was inoperative. That doesn't appear to be
an engine down.
It was mentioned by them that the thrust reverser light for one of the engines was inoperative, which would...
Now, if the plane can fly on 1 engine, absolutely. It's just not going to be at peak performance, right? And then when you're flying on 1 engine and you're doing fine, now if you have any little, like a nose door opens or this or too much drag or that or heavy or what, everything is multiplied on 1 engine.
Illuminate if the thrust reverser was extended, producing reverse thrust, which is used for landing predominantly to decelerate the aircraft on landing. But otherwise, the thrust reverser for the affected engine was working properly. So the light wasn't working, but the thrust reverser was apparently working properly. That was a discussion. So they took off from the runway. Once airborne, the pilot performed takeoff and departure, while the right seat pilot, Dutton's son, performed various checklists and communications on the radio. Jack Dutton was communicating on the radio.
I heard him on the radio. I think he was the one talking. He's like, we've got issues.
And then was performing checklists.
It sounded like a young person.
The rear passenger commented that the left engine was producing more power than the right and indicated there may have been a faulty gauge. The pilot continued the takeoff. So we got to stop there just for a second. Bad engine indications, whether they're related to a gauge or related to some potential issue with the engine, is generally a reason to reject a takeoff. And
I think it might be popular in like the Southwest or maybe it's just California. I've seen a 7-point.
At the airline level, we have a briefing.
I don't know where it was from, though.
It doesn't change from flight to flight to flight. There's 4 items that I always brief, and this is a standard of the airline I work for. So anything prior to 80 knots, we will reject. Any issues whatsoever prior to 80 knots, we'll reject. Above 80 knots, we'll only reject for 4 items. It
looks like this. Hold on. You'll have 1 point. You end up with 1 point straight down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. You end up with 1 point straight down. All right, back to the video.
Indications, any engine failure, the ability to control the aircraft in question, or a wind shear alert. Those are only 4 things I'm going to reject above 80 knots, and that's compliant with FAA recommendations and TSB recommendations as well, that reject takeoffs above 80 knots a lot of times end up creating accidents themselves. So you really want to limit, especially on a twin-engine aircraft, you want to limit what you're going to reject above 80 knots for.
Right. So there's a window, like if we're this slow, it's easy to reject a takeoff, right? Like we just fucking throw the goddamn brakes on. If we're this fast, we're going in the air. We're already committed. And if there's a gray area in between, we could stop, but, you know, we're more likely to crash or run out of runway or fuck something, you know what I mean?
And the V1, after V1, the takeoff safety speed, we're going to go flying. If we need to come back around and make a landing, we'll take the thing airborne, come back around and make an immediate landing if we need to. They just say during the takeoff roll, so
they decided we're going to take off, and if we need to land, we can always come here and land.
It's not articulated at one point what speed they were at when Biffle, the rear passenger, commented.
During the takeoff roll, the passenger commented that the left engine was producing more power than the right, indicated there may have been a faulty gauge. The pilot continued the takeoff. The preliminary GPS data showed the airplane made a climbing. All right, hold on just a second. Climbing left turn following takeoff. The pilot commented that he would remain VFR until they received their IFR clearance. 10:08, the airplane had turned about 180 degrees and attained an altitude of 2,200 feet, mean sea level. The airplane continued to turn left and began to descend. The right seat passenger attempted to contact CTL ATC and activate the flight's IFR flight plan 3 times between 10:08 and 10:10, but was unsuccessful due to the controller's workload and associated radio communications. But he doesn't. Why are we descending? Hold on.
Producing more power than the right, and that there may have been a faulty gauge. If this was below 8.
Discussion about between the pilot and rear passenger, Greg Biffle, about climbing to a higher altitude, even though they were technically required to remain VFR. The airplane had descended about 1,500. They know they're descending, though, right?
Knots, they should have rejected the takeoff. I don't care if I have a bad instrument or a bad engine. I really don't care. Even above 80 knots with abnormal engine indications, you could justify rejecting the takeoff. Say, this engine may be failing right now. And that's one of the reasons I'll reject takeoff above 80 knots. Probably the takeoff should have been rejected. Doesn't matter whether it's a bad gauge or a bad engine.
That's what I want to get. I would like to have a really good flight sim set up. I don't know. I go back between like a racing sim, or do I want a flight sim, or do I want helicopter with that collective and everything? I think helicopter would be really fun. There's a guy that I watch that does some of the wildest fucking like it's all on a simulator, but like combat landings and dropping people off and shit. Like it's fucking insane the shit he does, flips and crazy shit in a helicopter.
Engine, it should have been rejected. Because I don't want to second guess him too much. We don't know. This could have been very high speed in the takeoff roll and make more sense if it was, and they didn't reject the takeoff. But if you're counting right now, we've got 3 significant risk factors. Number 1, Jack Dutton is sitting in the right seat. He's not qualified for the right seat. He doesn't have a multi-engine rating. He has very low time.
Number 2, they had something with the indicator for the reverse thruster. And number 3, they said that one engine was producing more thrust than the other one. It could potentially be a faulty gauge.
Pilot, probably given the conditions here, he had not familiarized himself sufficiently with the citation.
Chat. VFR is visual, right? So they have to see what they're doing. IFR is instruments, so they're using their instrumentation to fly around. Visual, you have to be able to see shit.
Which means checklist usage, abnormal procedures, things of that nature. Just was basically he could handle the radios and he could read off of a checklist and probably not do much more. That's not someone you want in the right seat in a turbojet high performance aircraft. So that's risk number 1. That was self-induced. That was induced by Dutton Sr. and by Biffle himself. They were obviously trying to let father and son fly together. You can understand the sentiment of that. You can appreciate the Biffle wanting to give them that.
But that's just, we're taking a lot of risk here to get a father-son. Just fucking train him on that fucking airframe.
Dutton Sr. wanting to have that experience with his son. But at the end of the day, aviation isn't about sentiment, it's about safety. This was a bad safety decision. So big risk, self-induced risk, a non-qualified pilot in the right seat. Number 2, thrust reverser indicator light that was not working. That's a risk factor as well. It doesn't appear to have played a role in this, but it is a risk factor. Number 3, you're taking off. You have indications either of a bad gauge or of some sort of abnormality between the 2 engines. You continue the takeoff. Those are 3 risk factors right there.
They should have been pretty close in the power that they were producing, both engines. And it seemed like one of them was producing less or one of them was producing more. Or the gauge was reading bad.
There were a lot of folks who felt like this sort of curving pattern and descent at the end of this curving pattern indicated that the pilot was attempting an immediate return to land on runway 10. That would indicate potentially some sort of engine failure was the idea in the early coverage around here. We know now that's not the case. There's no comment of an engine failure. Even though they had abnormal engine indications, there's no indication of an engine failure through the CVR conversation that they had preceding this. So no one stated that there's any sort of engine failure here, which they would have if that had occurred. We know at this point.
And what's crazy is Greg Biffle was like super active on social media. He does this thing called Biffmas instead of Christmas where he does these big giveaways. He was, had been hanging out with Cletus and doing stuff with them. And like, I don't know, he seems like a really cool guy.
That they were.
And his whole family taken out. And another family, father and son at least.
Climb. And they were VFR departure. We'll get into that had occurred. We know at this point.
They dropped altitude here because they couldn't punch through the clouds. It says they tried multiple times to get approval to go to IFR, right, and get above the clouds.
That they were.
If you're on visual, you can't be above the cloud layer, wherever it's at, because you can't see.
Starting to enter into the clouds in a climb. And they were VFR departure. We'll get into that in a minute. But on a VFR departure, you need to have an instrument clearance. You need to be IFR, which calls instrument flight rules. They were VFR, visual flight rules, which meant that they had to stay clear of clouds. They had to have visibility to identify any other air traffic that was out there and avoid that air traffic. IFR, you get into radar contact with, in this case, would be Atlanta Center that controlled the airspace over Statesville Airport. And you would talk to them. They'd get you in radar contact. They'd keep you clear of other aircraft, and then you could go climb into the clouds because you would have clearance with the other aircraft through providing.
Yeah, he was big after Helene, did a lot of volunteering and stuff.
Services. So they began the descent here to stay out of the clouds, which is interesting. They'd already decided,
that's cool,
particularly with Biffle and Dutton's son in the right seats to fly and kind of to break the regulations to fly, but they didn't want to violate the regulations. At least Dutton Sr. didn't want to violate the regulations and fly into the clouds, VMC into IMC. You want to do that VFR into IFR. So the descent here was to stay out of the clouds, was not indicative of an engine failure.
So the reason they dipped here, you can see like however tall this red line is how high they are. So you can see they dipped there, and a lot of people were saying, "Oh, the engine must have failed right here, and then they got it back or something," you know. But no, they were just dodging clouds. And then it says pilot initiated climb. So they had enough power to like climb this. I don't know what the fuck happened, dude.
And we'll get more into that later because there never was any indication in the CVR, according to the NTSB, of an engine failure. But the CVR was a little bit compromised. So, you know, we don't know whether there's an engine failure. Right now, it looks like there was not an engine failure, even though there were abnormal engine indications. So the right seat pilot here, who would be Jack Dutton, attempted to contact ZTL ATC, that would be Atlanta Center, to activate
to get permission to go to an instrument. Right.
Flight plan 3 times in a couple of minutes, was unsuccessful due to the workload and associated radio communication. So the controller was talking to a lot of different traffic. He just wasn't able to get a hold of him to get that IFR flight plan open, which meant they were still VFR and they were trying to stay below the clouds. Now, 10:09, there's discussion between Dutton Sr., rear passenger, Biffle, about climbing to a higher altitude, even though they're technically required to remain VFR. Let's talk about that for a second. We'll zip down here. So this is the...
So yeah, technically, but like, I don't know. Are you going to get in trouble if you like punch through the clouds and you're on VFR? Yeah, probably. If someone catches you or knows about it or reports you or whatever. But is it worth dying over? Like, come on, like, get some fucking height if that's what you need to do. I don't know what actually caused this.
They
but
received from the airport in the aircraft before taking off at 9:54. This is right before they started the engines. So wind 0503 knots, not much wind. Visibility 10. That means at least 10 miles of visibility. 3,900 foot scattered.
He wasn't flying. His dad was the one flying. It doesn't matter. That has nothing to do with it. You need 2 experienced pilots to go through when you have an issue. There's troubleshooting. A lot of times the most experienced pilot is not flying. He's going through checklists.
Ceiling 5,000 overcast. So their decision to depart VFR and then attempt to pick up their IFR flight plan in the air was most likely based upon this report, which is as high as 5,000 feet. So we can climb up to 4,500 feet, and that's safe altitude. We're not worried about any obstructions. We're not worried about antennas. We're not worried about other stuff like that on the ground. We can climb up to 4,500 feet, below 5,000 feet, and then we can cruise down here to the degree that we need to until we can get a hold of center, get our IFR clearance, and get the climb through the clouds.
Well, the reason you need 2 experienced pilots is because one of them always has the controls, the other one's troubleshooting. They literally have these books they pull out, and they're like, okay, we have number 1 engine failure, and it says, you know, reduce the throttle back to here, do this, turn this off, flip this switch, check this red light's on. If it's on, do this. And while one of them's reading it, the other one's doing it and flying.
Well, when they came back for landing at 10:15, the weather was 5 statute miles, heavy drizzle, ceiling broken 1,200 feet and 2,200 feet, and then overcast at 5,000 feet. So effectively, 1,200 to 2,200 feet, you were done. You couldn't climb any higher than that, and that's not really a...
So they thought they were going to be able to get up to 5,000 feet, but they couldn't.
Fun altitude. 1,500 feet was essentially what they wound up...
The clouds are much lower.
Off at. That's not a great altitude in a multi-engine jet around hill country in North Carolina. You're worried about antennas, large antennas, AM antennas, things like that. You're not in a comfortable state. And so likely they had this first report. They said, hey, we're good. We can go VFR. We don't have to make a phone call to Atlanta Center. We don't have to potentially deal with the delay in getting our clearance, IFR clearance before we take off. Places like Statesville, if they don't have radar.
To me, I don't know. To me, I think, like, if we're going to be an IFR flight, go ahead and get the clearance, because no one's saying like you can't still use fucking visual. You know what I mean? Like, obviously you can.
Or services down the ground, which they probably didn't, or what we call one-in, one-out airports, which means that air traffic control will not clear an aircraft to depart until they have no IFR aircraft in the area, and that can induce delays in getting out of an airport, that you've got to wait minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes for approaching aircraft to land and cancel their IFR, or for a departing aircraft to be radar contacted by ATC before you can get your clearance to leave. And become more complicated if there's not radio services on the ground from Atlanta Air Traffic Control Center to the pilots. If you just have a phone number, for example, it becomes even more complicated. And so it's much simpler to depart VFR. It could be much more expedient to depart VFR, pick up that IFR clearance en route.
I guess, to save time.
1,200 feet, 2,200 feet, overcast 5,000 feet. If they had that weather information, if they knew that the weather was going to degrade to that point before they took off, they probably would have gotten that IFR clearance on the ground. It would be pretty aggressive to take off under those conditions and attempt to pick up that clearance immediately after takeoff in a very high workload while remaining at a very low, really kind of unsafe altitude for maneuvering. So again, they had this discussion, Biffle and Dutton Sr. I kind of feel
pretty low.
It may have been Biffle who suggested, hey, we already got an illegal guy in the right seat. Let's just punch through these clouds. What are the odds that we'll hit an aircraft in the clouds climbing out? It's not legal. It's not suggested. You do have a race car driver in the back seat who has a different risk assessment ratio. He's saying we already kind of violated one thing. Maybe we should climb through the clouds. They don't specify who said what. I imagine it's Biffle. If it had been Dutton Sr., you'd think Dutton Sr. just would have climbed through the clouds because he was the one flying the airplane. But
right, he wouldn't even said anything. You just went through the clouds. I think that Greg Biffle probably suggested it. Like, let's just get a little bit higher. It's a very... So almost all your risk in an airplane is takeoff and landing when you're at those low altitudes, low speeds, right? And they're just very fucking low for a multi-engine jet. With, like he said, cell phone towers and hills and mountains and shit around.
They decided to remain VFR as opposed to punch through those clouds. And, you can only judge it by the result, which is they probably were better to illegally climb into IMC.
Yeah, now looking back, like, hell, fuck those clouds. Let's not die, but...
Or exercise.
I guess they thought they had it under control.
IMC. They sort of put themselves in that position, though. There's really no justification for it. But they had a discussion about it, decided to, at this point, they had descended to 1,580 feet. MSL, which was not that high above the ground, 958.6 feet elevation for runway 10. So 960-ish feet elevation. This is MSL. So 1,580 feet means they were 500 feet off the ground.
Damn. That's awful low to be flying around in circles and shit, trying to get a hold of fucking Atlanta or whatever.
They're cruising along 500 feet off the ground. Not a safe altitude. Not a safe altitude. There's plenty of antennas out there that are more than 580 feet. There's hills out there. There's all sorts of bad mojo out there.
I've climbed antennas taller than 500 feet.
I think at that point, you are basically an emergency aircraft. And if you're an emergency aircraft, you can violate regulations. It's not ideal. Whoever said, hey, maybe we should punch through this cloud, even though we're VFR, was probably correct. You're an emergency aircraft at that point. So eventually, pilot initiated climb. So it wasn't long afterwards before I think they said, oh, the heck with it. We just need to climb through this. And then the rear passenger, Biffle, noted the left.
Okay. So eventually they say, fuck it, let's climb. And that's that climb we see on the thing. And it says the pilot initiated climb, and shortly after, the rear passenger, Biffle, noted a difference between the left and right engine interstage turbine temperature indication. So one of them's running hot or cool or something.
Right engine interstage turbine temperature indications. There was a difference between the two. Don't know if that was abnormal for this particular aircraft or not.
And one of them had more power than the other one.
I've flown a lot of turbojets. Depending upon the age and wear of the different engines, ITTs can be different. So the fan speed generally is what produces a thrust. In order to get some metric thrust, which means both fan speeds are at about the same rate, sometimes you need a little higher interstage temperature in one engine as opposed to the other. So if you have an engine that's a
little more worn out or needs a little more fuel or something,
tolerance is generally an engine that is newer compared to an older engine. The older engine may be a little bit more out of tolerances, which means it's not as efficient, which means you need to burn more fuel, produce more heat to produce the same thrust. So it's not altogether unusual for that to take place. It's possible in this aircraft that Biffle wasn't used to seeing that, and that might have indicated some sort of an engine issue. It's possible.
Oh, here's the problem. The cockpit area microphone captured the pilot making remarks indicating his altitude indicator was not working properly, and that additional left side flight instruments may not have been working properly. The Garmin GTN 750 stopped recording airspeed data at 10:09:37 and heading at 10:10:58.
That was maybe.
So they just come in short and had no idea?
Normal, you just had a differential in terms of the efficiencies of the two engines, so the ITTs were a little bit different. We have no idea.
I used to get paid to go change the fucking bulbs.
Within the preliminary report, as to whether that indicated some sort of engine issue or not. So we don't know. We don't know if
they had a hotline that people would call and say they were fucking out pilots or people that noticed it or whatever. And then we would get a work order to go change fucking lamps.
Point in time, but there was no indication of an engine failure, so we're not quite sure what was going on with the engines. But two separate comments during takeoff. There was a differential in thrust between one engine and the other. That may have been associated with the ITT. If you had set the interstage turbine temps instead of the N1s, and you set those turbine temps comparably to each other, one engine may have been more efficient, producing more thrust than the other. After takeoff, if you equalize those engines from an N1 perspective, the ITTs may have been different. So it may have been the same thing expressed in two different ways. We don't know whether that indicated an issue or not with the engines. The NTSB isn't stating whether or not there was any indications of an engine issue at that point in time. So this is where we get into, and we get back into the starter generator question here. The autopilot was either disengaged intentionally or disengaged independently at 10:10. And then at 10:18, cockpit area microphone captured pilot making remarks indicating his altitude indicator was not working properly, and that additional left side instruments may not have been working properly. The avionics package for the aircraft, the Garmin GTN 750, which comes with a memory card. Fortunately, I guess it wasn't damaged enough that they weren't able to recover data from it. So they're stating the data they recovered from that memory card stopped recording airspeed data at 10:09:37 and heading data at 10:10:58, which would validate the
10:11.
Left pilot, Dutton Senior, the ATP, former airline pilot, saying, hey, I don't have airspeed indications. I have bad indications over here. I have bad indications, maybe in IMC and instrument meteorological conditions at that point in time. So it's a really bad time not to have those indications. Not long after that, airplane control was transferred to the right seat passenger, which is Dutton's son, not certified, not familiar with it, doesn't have a multi-engine rating, probably doesn't know the operating.
Damn, the kid was flying.
Limitations, airspeed limitations, control characteristics of the citation too, but he's got good instruments in front of him.
IMC is when basically like low visibility, heavy clouds, whatever. That's when you have to basically be flying by instrumentation. You can't see anything to fly by it.
So if they're
it'd be a bad time to lose your your altitude and your speed and shit like that, obviously.
At this point in time, Dutton Sr. doesn't have good airspeed indication. Dutton's son does. He transfers the controls to him. A horrible situation, probably correct in that moment to transfer the controls over to his son.
Right. It's I mean, like if you don't know what's going on, transfer. I would have gotten that seat though. He's not qualified. There's a lot of things.
But you've stacked the deck seriously against you by putting Jack, who was just not capable to be in that seat, and now.
Or say, hey, I don't have speed. I don't have altitude here. Tell my son to get the fuck out of that seat and get Greg Biffle up here, who's flown this jet a bunch of times. Hey, I need you in that left-hand seat or that right-hand seat.
He's got to fly the airplane. No comments were recorded during the remainder of the CVR to indicate any malfunctions of right seat cockpit flight instrument. So we'll assume the right seat instrument.
Remainder of the CVR recorded to indicate there were any malfunction with the right. So the kid might have been flying the whole time.
Functioning, although if they weren't, I don't know that Jack Dutton would have necessarily have.
That's not proper. But before I say I have no idea how fast we're going or how high we are, I'm going to give it to my son, who's completely unqualified, who has no idea what's going on with this plane. Fucking get out of that seat. Greg Biffle, get the fuck up here. Right?
Able to articulate that or know the difference. So within a few seconds of
obviously they were talking to him back and forth about about the altitude, about the speed, about the temperatures and shit. He could have fucking slipped in that seat quick.
Severe degradation in CVR audio quality began on all channels, which continued for 3 minutes and 5 seconds. So the number one,
the cockpit voice recorder goes out for a few minutes.
Microphone began to degrade about 50 seconds prior to all the channels degrading. And we'll get into in a minute. Something happens that brings that CVR audio back, which indicates there may have been an electrical.
Father's in the left seat.
Issue associated
son's in the right seat
on this flight. So about 10-13 minutes after that, the pilot and both pilot-rated passengers stated they could see the ground, so they were trying to make a return to the airport. There was no positive control of the airplane, so there was no, hey, my aircraft, your aircraft. We generally do that. If there's two pilots, you're going to fly the aircraft. They say your aircraft, and you respond my aircraft. There was no positive transfer of airplane control, but subsequent communication indicated that
God, I hope they weren't fighting each other with the controls.
Had taken the controls back. Once he could see the ground, he took the controls back.
Okay, so it seems like Dad got controls again once he can see, and he's back to VFR, right?
From his son, and then flew the aircraft without good flight instruments on his side of the aircraft. Now, he probably could have seen the instruments on his son's side of the aircraft, but that's an awkward sort of transition to look, and you're only seeing it kind of from the side. You don't get it full on, and to do that sort of scan is unnatural. It's an unnatural type of scan to do, but since the son wasn't qualified to fly the aircraft, Dutton Sr. had to take control of the aircraft back and fly it without good airspeed indications, and this is going to be critical. He didn't have good airspeed indications in front of him. So they blast off out of here. They come all the way.
As soon as we start having any fucking issue, Statesville, as soon as we start having any fucking issues, right? They could have easily declared emergency, but I would have kicked my son out of that seat. Like it's sentimental, it's cool, we get to fly together, blah, blah, blah. We're breaking the rules to do it. As soon as we have any fucking anything, especially if we've already made a decision, we're going to go turn around and land, get the fuck out of that seat. I need somebody here that's qualified on the plane.
Around here. Out here, they're scud running, basically staying below the clouds. Somewhere around here, they say, hey, 500 feet isn't good. We're basically in an emergency. We're going to climb into the clouds. I think that's probably what happened. Start climbing the clouds. Oh, no, I've lost my gauges on the left seat. I have to transfer controls. Say, let's go back to the airport. We're not going to continue flying like this. Come back around. They begin a descent. They get visual contact with the ground towards the airport. Transfer of controls once again takes place. Dutton Sr. is flying the aircraft now. Then you have the audio that we have of some issues by Jack Dutton, his son. CVR audio quality returns. We're going to talk about in a second. And then his son, Dutton's son, actually saw the airport first and told his father about it.
The son just comes on the radio and says, we're returning. We have some issue. No, they did not declare emergency. We have some issues.
1405, rear passenger made a query to the pilot regarding power to the alternator. There's a note here. There's no alternator in the CE550. It's kind of a pedantic note. What Biffle was referring to there, I believe, is a starter generator. Generator does the same thing as an alternator in a different way. It provides electricity.
Right.
To aircraft systems. So about 4 seconds later, and this is a big one, audio quality returned to previous levels on all recorded CVR audio channels. And that is a good indication right there, I think, of there was either one or both of the starter generator switches weren't in generator. The generator.
So the same thing that starts the engine is also attached to the engine, and it spins and makes electricity, right? Makes power. They weren't in generator mode. They weren't in starter either because the engines were running, but they were just in the middle position. And then we get, so obviously we had been losing power and our radios are fucking going out, our recording's going out, everything's going out. And he's like, hey, those aren't in generator. And they flip them on and suddenly everything comes back. We get our audio back.
Was not turned on. Biffle makes this statement, hey, I think we have an electrical issue here. I don't think the generator, the alternator's on. And then, you just flip the switch. 4 seconds later, bang, CVR audio channels are working again, which indicates you have.
And that's probably an issue with the son, right? Probably his job.
Of full electrical power back to the aircraft. So after audio quality returned, pilot made a comment indicating that was the problem. I said, well, that was the problem. That's what we were dealing with, was a problem. However, he didn't
Damn it.
specify what it was or what actions were taken to correct it. I think flipping one of the generators or both generator switches was what he did to correct that issue. I suspect it was just one generator switch. I imagine, and I'm not a citation too.
Yeah, there's nobody at the airport. They just announce, but they're still announcing. They still announce it, right? Over the airwaves. Either way.
But I imagine the citation too would be giving you all sorts of alerts if you were on battery power during takeoff. So I think probably one generator was powered, the other wasn't. If there's segregation in the different electrical systems, you have a left electrical system, a right electrical system. The battery may have been providing power to one system. I don't know the exact architecture of the citation two. If you do, you can drop a comment below. But either one or both generators were probably turned on into generation mode at that point and solved some of the problems.
Because the son comes on the radio and says, we're returning. This is so-and-so. We're returning. We have some issues. That's all he says. Some issues.
Gifted Ice King off space
Thank you for the gifted sub.
An anonymous user gifted a tier 1 sub to Ice King off space.
He's actually an ICE agent. He calls himself the Ice King. I don't know if you knew that, but thanks for the gifted sub anyways.
So what they specify here, there's no additional discussions regarding pilot's flight instrumentation for the remainder of the CVR recording. So if the issues with the flight instrumentation were caused by these electrical issues, there's no comment of, oh, hey, my instruments are displaying correctly now. There's also no comment of the instruments are still not displaying correctly. In either case, Dutton may not have really trusted.
Yeah, you still get on the CTAF and say, Mayday, 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 declare an emergency, whatever.
Because he had been getting bad indications. And this pitot static systems don't always require electrical power. Again, I don't know the citation 2. Maybe they do on the citation 2. And so electrical.
I mean, but again, aviate is your first rule, right? Aviate before you get on there and broadcast.
It may have solved his airspeed indications, may have solved some of his other indications, or it may have been completely independent. There could have been something else that happened. But whatever the case, he begins to turn to runway 28. The sun calls runway in sight. At some point, he gets slow, 99 knots indicated airspeed, and he keeps descending, decreased to 93 knots during the final 5 seconds of data. That's too slow. That's too slow in a citation.
Ooh. So the airplane speed and altitude continue to decrease from the time the airplane was aligned on final approach on the runway until 10:15:18 when the airplane was at 984 feet MSL, and we already decided what this is at. Oh my God, that's only a couple hundred feet, right? Because we were at 1,500, we was only at 400. Yeah. 99 knots IS. The airplane continued to descend 942 until the CVR audio and GPS data recorded at 10:15:23. IAS increased to 107 knots and then decreased to about 93 knots during the final 5 seconds of data.
Notably, his son sitting in the right seat, coming out of single engine piston powered aircrafts, 93 knots is blazing fast. You're not working at slow speed at 93 knots in a single engine piston powered aircraft, light aircraft. No comments, no support, no nothing. Biffle in the...
So you aviate, navigate, then communicate. So no one's going to get mad at you if like your fucking hands are full and you're all over the place and you can't level out the fucking plane and you're not, communicating well with a tower. They understand, right? You fucking aviate first. You got to keep the goddamn plane in the air. Then you navigate. So even if you're doing all kinds of crazy shit and going in the wrong direction, as long as you're keeping the plane in the air, you're fine. Once you've settled that, then you navigate to make sure you're in the right direction, right altitude, all that shit. Then you fucking communicate. And say, hey, we got this emergency, blah, 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 whatever.
The airspeed indications on the sun's gate.
The point of declaring an emergency is so people around you know, and any resources that may be there and may not be there are all dedicated to you.
Gauges easily, if at all. So he would have had no comment on it. It's possible the only person who knew he had good gauges was just not doing anything to facilitate. That's why you don't put someone who's not.
So he had the only airspeed gauges, potentially had the only airspeed gauges to know how fast they are. And he wouldn't have known, like, hey, we're way too slow. Because he's coming from a goddamn Cessna, you know what I mean?
Qualified, familiar with as an aircraft like a Citation 2 in the right seat, in the front right seat. He was the wrong guy to be in there and obviously didn't make a statement of, hey, Pop, you're getting slow. And that's clearly going to be the primary cause of this is loss of airspeed.
Literally, I was afraid something went wrong or they were going so slow because the nose luggage doors were up and they didn't realize how much extra drag they had because it would be impossible to see from or maybe it was possible, but maybe they didn't see it from the cockpit. But it seems like he was flying blind. At least he didn't know airspeed. He was flying, looking out the fucking windshield, but had no idea about his airspeed or altitude. His instruments weren't working. And his son had no idea they were too slow. This is so goddamn avoidable. It's not like a goddamn wing broke off and everybody died when they hit the ground. They were just way too fucking slow. They fell out of the sky on approach. That's crazy, dude. So avoidable.
They may say for undetermined reasons. There's no indication that there was an engine failure at this point. So Biffle Sr. maybe just didn't trust those gauges in front of him, wasn't really referencing him, was kind of locked in on the runway, approaching the runway through 5 statute miles of mist and low ceilings, and probably blood pressure pretty high at this point for everything that preceded it. Airplane got slow. At a certain point, you run out of energy, and there's nothing you can do to recover that energy. You're going to hit the ground, and that's what happened.
Yes. Again, the most dangerous times, takeoff and landing. And once you get so slow and you notice that your altitude's dropping faster than you're going to be able to make it to the goddamn runway, you can throw power back into it, but it doesn't come back like that, right?
Happened. They made ground contact. See some trees out here. They made ground contact, and then they slid, caught on fire, and then spun at the end of the runway here. And
fuck. They ended up, I mean, it fucking burned up and shit on the runway. They were pretty damn close.
All tragically perished. Lesson from it for you pilot folks out there who watch the channel.
A post-impact fire consumed a majority of the... also, I saw that the landing gear lights was never illuminated. I think I said that earlier.
Be compliant with rules and policies. Don't be sentimental. Be safe. And for anyone out there who's watching this in general,
it's a lot of times these accidents like this, and even accidents in your own home, in your own car, at work, and we used to go over these job site accident reports and break them down and shit. Not like the NTSB does, but usually it's like a lot of small things, and it's never an issue until it is. Like, oh well. You know, we're not supposed to be using this, but sometimes we go outside and smoke. And then sometimes we go outside and smoke, then this chain was left down. And when this chain's left down, people know this machine's running, so they don't get too close to it. And then occasionally there's a cleaner that comes through that does this and doesn't put it back, and then this guard is off and this machine's still too close. And then over and over and over and over. We always do it that way until somebody gets fucking killed.
Aviation, in corporate aviation, in the airlines, that should go without saying. So the first link in this chain was forged by putting someone unqualified in the right seat for understandable sentimental reasons.
Oh, Fellrunner, thank you very much. Cheers, brother. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Sentiment has got no place in flight safety, and he shouldn't have been in that seat. And it wasn't, you couldn't expect him to perform.
Yeah, they hit those, cleared some trees there.
That seat. Anyways, that's a quick update. Everyone out there, stay safe.
Damn.
You fly. Don't make these types of decisions. This isn't about judgment for the individuals. I hate that. Decisions they made on a personal level, on a human level, on a flight safety level. We have to differentiate sometimes. And
I got to get a, I need to link my YouTube account and get a sound or something when people donate. I usually don't get super chats. I mean, it's awesome. Thank you for them. But I need a sound or something so I don't miss any.
You have to become a little bit cold and a little bit calculating and say you just can't do that stuff and stay safe. And that's the most important thing here. So 7 fatals, tragic event. None of them deserved it. None of them I could look at. And
Greg Biffle's whole family, plus another father and son.
Say we're doing anything that was absurd or not understandable.
And what's crazy, if you go to his, do I still have Facebook open? I will. Hold on. I was just recommended one of his posts, I guess, where everybody's going to his Facebook lately. Now he's getting recommended even more. If you go to his Facebook, it's still like on the giveaways and celebrate. It's just like frozen in time. Oh, it looks like maybe there was another post since then. Hold on. Yeah, a tribute post. But like before all this, it was just this. It was one of the winners of Biffmas or whatever he calls it. I think they won like something plus a couple $1,000 and a giveaway.
Hey man, how's it going?
Going good. Who am I speaking with?
This is Greg Biffle.
Greg Biffle?
Yes, sir.
So they did a giveaway. Winners of day 1 through 11, Biffmas have been contacted. Congratulations. I forgot what the 12th day of Biffmas. Make sure to like, comment, tag a friend, YouTube Daily. They gave away a car and a few $1,000 or a dirt bike or something. Hold on. Let's see what it was.
You know what today is, honey? Today is the 12th day of Biffmas. And I know everybody's been waiting for this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You know what else today is? Today's the day I give away my C4 Corvette.
Okay. Gave away his Corvette.
Away for free. The other good thing about this Corvette is it's got Nitrous Express on it, and it's got Hoosier drag radials on it. Now, this thing isn't perfect by any means, so don't think you're going to drive this thing down the road from my shop. You're going to have to bring a trailer, you're going to have to take it to your shop, check it over, do some work on it. The other thing it's got is a brand new transmission. Today, 12th day of Biffmas, you're getting my Corvette and $1,200 cold hard cash. Make sure you like, comment, tag a friend in this video to
I don't know.
Make sure you check out.
It's just sad. His whole fucking family taken out. All because the Sun pilot may have not known like how fast they should have been coming in. They clipped some trees. They made it to the runway and then fucking die in a fire, dude. I think I'd rather just fucking fall out of the sky and die immediately. You know what I mean? And he has kids. I don't know. It's all bad. Is that his family there? I wanted to see just like a picture of him and his family. Hold on. There he is with Cletus. They had been doing a bunch of stuff with Cletus. You know, guys know Cletus McFarland, the YouTube, bought a racetrack and shit down there where he lives. I don't know. Sad, dude. Fucked up. There you go. That seems like this is just the preliminary report. They may have other stuff, but that comes out. But that was the early reporting. All right, I'm out of that now.
Donald Trump just let it slip in the Oval Office, and you could instantly recognize that
That's where he shit himself.
What he said had completely screwed him. Because Donald Trump wants you to believe two things when it comes to the Epstein files. The first is the most fanciful, is that he wasn't friends with Epstein. We know that not to be true. But the second thing that Donald Trump wants you to believe is that the Epstein files are barely even an issue. It was just a couple of people who bumped into him at brunch. There's no need to investigate. Let's just move on. And Donald Trump dispelled with both of those false narratives during the presser that he just gave in the Oval Office, and he knew it. You could see it on his face after he let.
There's a video where he shit himself, and they ran all the you can hear somebody shit themselves. Then they run all the reporters out of the fucking Oval Office.
We are going to get into the shocking and just kind of hilarious moment when Donald Trump's brain stopped working for a second and he gave the game away. But it started with Trump ranting about Epstein, attacking Bill Clinton, and saying that the DOJ should just move on.
That have nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein. In fact, if you look at the DOJ, they announced, they released 3 million pages. It's like this is all they're supposed to be doing. And frankly, the DOJ, I think, should just say, we have other things to do, because that whole thing's turned out, I mean, other than Bill Clinton and, Bill Gates and lots of people that there are a lot of questions about it, but nothing on me. But it was even sort of better than that.
He's just lying, right? He's all over it.
Because they found that Jeffrey Epstein and this sleaze...
Hell, he's in there more than fucking Ghislaine Maxwell is.
...writer named Michael Wolff were conspiring against Donald Trump to lose the election. So
now, Michael Wolff has made a video that said, fucking sue me, dude. I've got nothing to hide. You do.
Epstein was conspiring with a writer for me to lose the election. So right there, you know that I had nothing to do with this guy. But, yeah, it's a terrible thing. The amount of time that's being wasted. When Epstein was alive, like 10 years ago, nobody cared about it. But they're only doing it. But now it's really hitting back on them because Bill Clinton...
You mean when he was arrested and we were all waiting to see who all the fucking secret pedophiles were?
It's such a big part of it. The Democrats are pushing it. And the problem is that it's turning out to be the Democrats that were with and conspired with Epstein. So I think you're probably going to see a little pullback from them. But think of it. They were working together to try and help me lose the election. But this is the Oval Office, so I guess that didn't work out too well. Okay, one more.
Donald Trump, in his infinite wisdom, is presenting two very different ideas here. The first is that there's some grand conspiracy with Michael Wolff and Bill Clinton, probably Barack Obama, and everyone was looking to make sure that Donald Trump lost the 2016 election, the 2020 election, and the 2024 election as well. There's this big conspiracy with Epstein. That's who he was working with, Bill Clinton, Michael Wolff, and the Democrats. But at the same time, the DOJ should just move on. That Donald Trump talks about election fraud, and that's why he had to go to Fulton County, another lie. But the election fraud supposedly from Clinton and Epstein and Wolff, we should just move on from. These are two contradictory ideas.
Right.
Is the Epstein files real and legitimate, or should we move on?
Move on and also raid the fucking... I don't know if you guys saw... Did I save that clip? Fuck, I might not have grabbed it. Where Donald Trump talks about I'll find it. You guys finish watching this video, I'll find it.
Donald Trump can't seem to wrap his head around what lie he wants to tell, but his narrative falls apart when he keeps interrupting it with things that don't fit into the same narrative structure. And that is certainly the case for what Donald Trump let slip after he made the imaginary case for himself, having not been Jeffrey Epstein's best buddy for a decade, in a Truth Social post that ultimately backfired. Trump wrote on Truth Social, not only was I not friendly with Jeffrey Epstein, but based upon information that has just been released by the Department of Justice, Epstein and a sleazeback lying author named Michael Wolff conspired in order to damage me and or my presidency. So much for the radical left's hope against hope, some of whom I'll be suing. Additionally, unlike so many people that like to talk trash, I never went to the infested Epstein Island, but almost all of those crooked Democrats Democrats and their donors did. All right, so as we can see, it is a two-pronged approach for Donald Trump. First, he has to say that the other side is guilty of his crimes, working with Jeffrey Epstein, conspiring with Jeffrey Epstein, creating this cover-up around Jeffrey Epstein, which is what they've done. That's what he said Bill Clinton and Michael Wolff are responsible for. The second thing he had to say is that it was the Democrats who were the best friends with Jeffrey Epstein. They were so close. They were like this, and that's what you should be focusing on. Focus on Bill Clinton. But as is the case for Donald Trump in his projection, every accusation is an admission of the truth about him. And no admission was greater than what Donald Trump let slip when he was asked about Jeffrey Epstein's island. Listen to what Donald Trump said about Jeffrey Epstein and immediately had to change his tone.
Are you going to sue Trevor Noah? Last night in a post, you alluded that something could be coming.
Yeah, well, he said that I spent time on Jeffrey Epstein's island. I didn't. I mean, he's a lightweight. This guy is a terrible. I think he's terrible. I thought he did a terrible job at the Grammys. I thought the whole Grammys.
Oh, God.
I watched part of it. It's not watchable.
Did you catch that? Because if you didn't, I'm going to play it one more time. How is he talking about Epstein?
Yeah, well, he said that I spent time on Jeffrey Epstein's island.
Donald Trump was asked about Jeffrey Epstein, a man that he claims wasn't even close to him. They didn't even know each other. I don't even know who you're talking about. And he first refers to him as Jeffrey. Not Jeffrey Epstein, not Epstein, but Jeffrey. He goes, well, I never went to Jeffrey Epstein's island. Remember when he said Tim Apple? And he's like, Tim Apple, Tim Cook from Apple? And he corrected himself because he realized. Trump goes, oh yeah, Jeffrey, my buddy. I mean, Jeffrey Epstein, who I've never met or talked to, and I'm not friends with. Donald Trump wants you to think that he was not close with Jeffrey Epstein, but he was so close to Jeffrey Epstein that even years later, he is referring to him like a buddy. He's saying, oh yeah, Jeffy Epps. He literally just said, I never went to Jeffrey. And then he had to switch it up. And he immediately goes, oh, Jeffrey Epstein, trying to pretend like we didn't catch that. He knows what he did. He knows that he kind of let it slip. That was Jeffrey. It wasn't Jeffrey Epstein, right? It wasn't Mr. Epstein. It wasn't that guy in New York. It wasn't a once friendly business associate. It was Jeffrey.
Listen to this clip. This is what I was looking for on the Bongino show. By the way, Bongino's still sucking Donald Trump's dick. He's like, we were so hands-on. You told us to go get the criminals, and you're such a good president. You told us to release all this shit that never happened. Bongino left over the Epstein files. And now he's like, oh, you were the greatest, man. You told us to go get the criminals and didn't tie our hands. And why aren't you there then, motherfucker? Anyways, listen to this clip of what he plans on doing with the elections. Listen closely.
These people were brought to our country to vote, and they vote illegally.
Not true. Illegal aliens aren't fucking voting.
And amazing that the Republicans aren't tougher on it. The Republicans should say, we want to take over. We should take over the voting in at least 15 places.
We should take over the voting in at least 15 places.
Republicans ought to nationalize the voting. And we have states that are so crooked, and they're counting votes. We have states that I won that show I didn't win. Now you're going to see something in Georgia where they were able to get with a court order.
Now you're going to see something in Georgia. What you're going to see is that I really did win, and they said I didn't win.
The ballots, you're going to see some interesting things come out. But, like the 2020 election, I won that election by so much. Everybody does it. They put a woman in jail, Colorado, put a woman in jail, a wonderful woman, a 72.
Now listen what he claims this wonderful woman with cancer did. What did she actually do? She stole her coworker's credentials and snuck in a guy she didn't even fucking know that was sent to her from fucking Mike Pillow, and he stole election data, and she covered it up. But what does Trump say she did?
2 years old, had cancer, because she was a voting inspector. She was in charge of a voting area, and she saw boxes of votes come in. So she went over to check it, and they put her in jail for voter manipulation.
She saw boxes of votes come in, and she was a voting inspector, so she went to check those votes, and they put him in jail.
Manipulation, and she's still in jail. And they better let her out fast. And they're suffering a big price, Colorado. They have this woman in...
You're punishing them for having a court system and sticking with it? That's weird.
Jail, who's 71 years old, and probably has cancer. She's sick. And they put her in...
Probably cancer.
Because she challenged somebody that was dumping ballots into a box, okay?
She challenged... Now, Trump probably believes this. I mean, he's a fucking... His brain is mush, and people are just... She was just challenging someone who was dumping off a bunch of votes. She broke into the secure facility with her co-worker's credentials that she gave to someone she had never met before that stole election data because Mike Pillow told her to. She was just, like, hey, this guy's dropping off a bunch of ballots. Wonder who he is. Straight to jail, bitch. The fuck out of here.
And they didn't put them in jail. This was during Biden's term. The worst president in history. And we had some bad ones. I mean, look, Barack Hussein Obama, I call him the Great Divider. Right. People couldn't stand him. You mentioned his name, they go crazy. They start booing the hell out of him. We had some really bad ones. I mean, Jimmy Carter wasn't exactly the greatest. Jimmy Carter didn't exactly have the hit on Venezuela that I had. Remember, his hits, they always turned out to be a disaster. Right. He went out, he had a hit. The helicopters were crashing into each other, the hostages and everything. That's why Ronald Reagan won the election. It was so pathetic. But we do it right. We've got the greatest military. I built the military. You know that in my first term. I built the military, even though they gave a piece of it away, but it's a lot, but it's still a piece compared to what I built. And we have the most powerful military. And my attack on Iran with, Operation Midnight Hammer, where we wiped out their nuclear threat, which they would have had a nuclear weapon within a month, and we knocked it out. And our attack on Venezuela was unbelievable. And the nice thing about Venezuela, we're getting along great now with
super senile, dude.
The government. We talk to them every single day. We took 50 million barrels of oil. It's on its way right now to Houston to be refined.
That he sold, and he's keeping an offshore bank account in Qatar because that money's actually owed to American companies and the American people. And if he brings it to the U.S., they can fucking take it because they owe them sanctions.
And we're going to help them a lot, and we're going to benefit by it also. It's going to be great. It's going to be an amazing place. It was a great.
Listen how much of a cuck this dude is. Bongino, hold on. Bongino didn't do shit while he was there, by the way, right? He was like the background. He went to Fox News. He couldn't get the Epstein files out. He bitched about that. I don't know. It's just, it's such a joke. Listen.
You really thought I was going to be different, that I would help get the Epstein files released?
Oh, that's a fucking AI one. Hold on. That's the clip I want, just not the AI one.
Has been absolutely incredible. The past year has been absolutely incredible. And given that, you're a results guy, obviously we were friends before, but working for you is a completely different experience. You are a results guy. You're a spreadsheets guy. How would you get to a net present value positive with what you're doing? And I'll never forget an Oval Office meeting we had in light of the DC crime numbers. Hadn't had a homicide in a record amount of time in DC, thanks to your leadership. We're sitting in the Oval Office, and I was talking to you about the homicide rate plunging, and it was only about 3 months into my term there. I said, Mr. President, what we're doing down in Memphis and elsewhere is working. And I'll never forget, I said, we're doing the broken windows, Rudy Giuliani style policing. You looked at me and you said, hey, how do we take this nationwide? And you never, ever let go. You stayed on top of it with me and Cash. You were all over it. You're such a hands-on guy. And it was just so refreshing to work.
It was amazing. You're the perfect boss. It's the perfect job. We were doing the perfect thing. We were doing everything right. Why are you not there, bro?
For someone who doesn't get into all the hype and all the nonsense, but cares about the numbers.
And he comes, before Bongino comes back, he announces that he's going after these black-pilled Republicans that are anti-Trump. He's coming back to podcasting to go after the people that are anti-Trump, but he couldn't even hold his fucking job.
It's probably your business background or what it is, but amazing job on that.
What a fucking cuck, dude.
But I was very happy that you have very unhappy when you left the FBI, but I was very happy that you have your show, which is so good. So I'm okay with it. It's a net neutral. I call it a net neutral.
Well, Mr. President, I want to thank you for the opportunity. The past year has been absolutely incredible. And given that you're a results guy, we were friends before, but working for you is a completely different experience. You are a results guy. You're a spreadsheet.
Fucking loser. Thank you for the last year. Fucking loser, dude.
That is how Donald Trump referred to him in the letter, in his black book. That is how Donald Trump refers to him when they were hanging out. That's how Donald Trump refers to him in communication. Jeffrey. His buddy, Jeffrey. Not Jeffrey Epstein, which Donald Trump subsequently went on to say, but just his first name. Because they were friends. They were best friends for a decade. And Donald Trump, no matter how hard he tries or who he threatens to sue, cannot get us to stop knowing that truth. So to change our reality. It's not going to happen. We know you were best buddies. You can't.
All right, I got one more for you before we go. You guys remember the guy that set up the fake immigration hotline for boomers who, like the people on the Erwin Buzz page who don't realize they're on the wrong page? He's got a new one.
Hotline for reporting illegal. I have my own hotline for reporting illegal immigrants, and people call it thinking that it's legitimate. I talked to a kindergarten teacher that wants to deport the parents of a kindergartner at her school.
A kindergarten teacher who wants to deport the parents of a kindergartner at her school, called the fake ICE hotline.
And it looks like they have a child who was born in New York, which makes them an American citizen.
Yeah.
So we're looking to deport the parents and leave the child.
Right. Like I said,
Ben Palmer's the guy's name, I think.
I don't know if they're here illegally. I just think it's odd, you know? It's very odd.
What did you say was odd?
It's just odd for them to even be here. Like, I'm a teacher at a school. Okay, I know schools. I know the whole law about schools. I mean, they seem like nice people or whatever, but I looked them up in our files, and I was like, oh, she was born in Honduras, and he's born in El Salvador. So right there, it's like, okay, maybe I'm on the right path. You know?
She looked them up in the files.
You know, they drop off their kid every day.
So their kid is their kid a student at your school?
Yes.
One of your
kindergarten.
Okay, so now you want to get his parents deported?
Well, I'm just saying that if they're taking up resources from our county,
Okay.
I'm not into illegal people being here.
I mean, if the son's in kindergarten, what, is 6 or 7,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, he's probably like 5 or 6.
And he was born in New York, so that means, assuming like they've been in America for 6 or 7 years.
Yeah.
And now we're going to go ahead and just remove them.
Are you like questioning that, or what do you know?
Yeah. So I know I'm just writing this down for my own
Okay.
personal notes, and my supervisor teaches at school wants kindergarten child's parents
You
deported.
make it sound terrible. You make it sound like it's terrible, but
Oh, well, I'm just
Yeah.
writing down what you're telling me.
okay. Well, yeah. Okay.
That sounds terrible. So you can write that down too, I guess. And that's Hispanic in an area where you wouldn't normally see Hispanics, okay?
Right, like people that are born in another country,
Yeah, because you normally see those people where?
like in the cities.
Got it. Okay, Hispanics out of place, now in country, not where they belong in city. So we were able to confirm that.
So she lives out in a rural area, and she's like, well, this might be normal in a city, but now what are they doing out here?
They are documented citizens along with their child.
Oh, good.
So yeah, it's good because we don't have to deport a 6-year-old. And yeah, I mean.
So this is the second call. He calls back and says, okay, well, they're citizens.
You know, that little fella could have been a threat to our national security.
Why are you talking to me like this?
Say again?
That little fella could have been a threat.
Why do you talk to me like this?
I'm sorry, what are you referring to?
Like you're like sarcastic.
Oh, okay. I mean, I just thought that maybe you'd be okay and just happy that the people that you reported were actually here legally and that they belong, just like you and me.
Did I talk to your supervisor? You said you had a supervisor.
Yeah, I just thought you were going to be happy.
Yeah, I am happy, but I'm not happy with your attitude. You just said to me, the 6-year-old won't be a threat to national security.
Yeah.
That's sarcastic.
I would think that the people that were deporting, especially 6-year-olds, that there would be a good reason for it.
I was talking about the people who I thought they're illegal because they were born in a different country. I can't help that they have a 6-year-old. That's on them.
You know what we'll do? I'll get in touch with the supervisor. I send him a text. When he gets back to me, I'll see if he can follow up with you. And
what is his name?
His name is Brian. But yeah, thought you'd be happy to know that they're documented, but we'll have the
I am happy. I'm super happy.
You sound it. God damn. What, you throwing a little party over there?
Happy. I'm glad. You know, that's wonderful.
Well, it's good. You know, the 6-year-old can stay in the school, and you know, I know it's
and have parents that exist in this country.
tough looking at them, and but yeah, we'll get on my supervisor. Just he can give you a call back in a little bit. My understudy here said you were having some issues with him about some out of place Hispanics.
They're not in their normal place, are they?
Something like that, yeah.
Okay.
You sound exactly like Greg. Okay. I just didn't like his attitude.
I really do apologize for that. Looks like Brian said we did confirm the document status of these individuals, and we're happy we were able to do that for you despite the sarcasm.
Brian said you are Brian.
The things that you're complaining about.
Okay, yeah, I'm glad. Like, I'm glad that they're fine folks and belong here and all that good stuff. But he was like criticizing me because there was a 6-year-old boy involved. You know what I mean? But he's like acting like I'm this terrible person because I'm going to do.
Dude, a teacher should be a safe place for these kids. Imagine the life of a 6-year-old who both their parents get deported. Let's say they do stay. That's probably their best chance at a good education and shit. But goddamn, what do you have left, dude?
For a 6-year-old, and in fact, he goes today. He goes, you know, because a 6-year-old would be a threat to national security.
There's a 6-year-old being a threat to national security. These people are horrible, fucking horrible piece of shits, and they'll be goddamn as soon as the doors open, you couldn't hold them out of that fucking church pew. Anyways, guys, I'm out. It's 12:30 here. Thank you guys for joining us. I actually got here a little bit earlier, but I'm still working it forward towards maybe a 9 p.m. start time. I'll be back. I don't foresee weather's moved off. It's just cold now. Hopefully no more snow. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for being here. Consider supporting the show. I got to pay rent. I think rent's due already. Oh, yeah, it's the 3rd. Goddamn. I got to pay some rent to support the show at Just Quick Tools. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you for being here. Somebody remind me to set up a donation alert notification for Super Chats on YouTube. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. We'll see you about the next one. Have a good night. Let's see you. Bye.
But I can tell you this about if this douchebag happens to see this particular show, you don't have the forking balls to call out the people on this planet by name and tell them exactly who they are and tell them the rest of the world who they are. You don't have the forking balls. You don't have the balls.
Okay, Scott.
Here we go. I think I started some shit. Listen off. It's about to get lit.
Thanks for joining us, Fell Runner.
Best, you know,
You're becoming a regular, brother.
you better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Here we go. I think I started some shit. Piss 'em off. It's about to get lit. Get the place in them bets. You know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet.
And they say that I'm a lunatic. Well, listen, bitch, I came equipped with a quick wit and a 6th sense for the stupid shit. Where my true believers? Y'all need Jesus. Praise the Lord, head to the extreme. All these false fucking prophets who profit off of gossip. Worshipping drums, cocking, begging for a throat deposit. Swinging fucking meat hammers like fool in a thong. He's strapped to the shaft, eating his chest like he's King Kong. Starving for attention, I'ma make your gut burst. I'll be your huckleberry, I can quench that thirst. Baby eating lizard people, alien sex. What's next? Trump in a dress, fucking Flynn on his desk. A retard in a vest, climbing up 5G towers. Cause you told him if he did, he'd get fucking superpowers.
Here we go. I think I started some shit. Piss 'em off. It's about to get lit. Get the place in them bets. You know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Here we go. I think I started some shit. Piss 'em off. It's about to get lit. Get the place in them bets. You know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet.
I used to find clues too when I was high on shrooms. I found myself a tunnel that led to Jason Q's bedroom. Open his closet, I found some of his meat rockets. I strapped it to my shoes and then I flew through the roof. I found myself in orbit strapped to an F-16. High on amphetamine with Trump in between. Put on a light coat of baby oil and saluted the troops. He tapped me on the shoulder and said, "This is gonna be it." Whoa. Stop. What? I'll get my files. Wait, what are you doing? It's it. Stop. Hold on. Fucking stop. Dude, come on. Seriously. This is my mom's an alcoholic. Oh, give me a. Oh my God. Damn it.
Here we go. I think I started some shit. Piss 'em off. It's about to get lit. Get the place in them bets. You know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Here we go. I think I started some shit. Piss 'em off. It's about to get lit. Get the place in them bets. You know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet.
Round 3. Down goes Nino. Please say it isn't so. Got him backed up on the ropes, trying to ram it down his throat. Now things are getting rocking. He was doing so well. It's all over. Hands on his shoulders, they ringing his bell. You got Frog News Network doing no damn research. They rework and copy on Cox that came first. 9th inning, 2nd string, and they acting like they know hitters. Assholes throwing bullshit, sending runs to the shitter. All this nonsense on my conscience, it's hard to sleep at night. Who the fuck is in my window with this time of the night? These parasites, these leeches, with all their secret meetings, teaching all you fucking cretins about baby-eating heathens. Believing in reason with no meaning is bullshit. Will Bird motherfuckers out here busting the grifts.
Here we go. I think I started some shit. Piss 'em off. It's about to get lit. Get the place in them bets. You know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Here we go. I think I started some shit. Piss 'em off. It's about to get lit. Get the place in them bets. You know that stage.
Have a good night, guys.
You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet.
You don't have those guts because you're a
Uh-oh. Stay safe, Marita. Have a good night.
aviator glasses in your